All hail the king! All hail the king! King Jaylen Herz! All hail the king! Holy cow. So let me get this right. King Herz. Yes, I don't have time for the White House, that's not on my calendar for the month of April. So I'm going to pass on going to the White House with my team. My friend and my cohort on my Eagle team, A.J. Brown, I can't go to his engagement. I have more of a lineup to go with my suit in my fitting for my suit that I'll be wearing at the Met Gala. When me and my new wife show up on the red carpet, I will be doing interviews with E! Entertainment, and I will make sure that I put that. Hey, Bob Lang, could you please put anything on my calendar and run it through Nicole Lynn? Thank you very much. Over at Clutch Sports. I want to make sure that His Highness, King Herz, understands that, this is about me. I am the official caboose of the Philadelphia Eagles because I went for a joyride all 2004 on the back of the train called the Saquon Barkley Express. How you doing? Excuse me. Yeah, Bob, can you make sure you have tea and crumpets for all? And we'll have a fireside chat with Obama. Obama's, yes, he's good. Okay. Yes. Holy cow. This guy thinks he's Tom Brady. Holy shit. Hey, I didn't want to go to my buddy's engagement because I had a fitting for my suit. By the way, Stephon Diggs, were you Nelson Mandela? That was quite a scut you had on there. Hey, these football guys, man. Some of these guys needed to get their man card taken away with some of the outfits they were wearing. Holy shit. Stephon Diggs, seriously, man. That guy looked like Nelson Mandela. You see my cape and my dress. Yes, and I am wearing hose. I'm not a hose. I am a hoe. Oh, no. I am a unemployed wide receiver as of right now. Holy shit. Hey, I didn't know men could look like that in dresses. Wait, Dennis Rodman at least was a 9-time or 11-time rebounding champ and a 3-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Holy cow. King Herz. Yes. His Highness has his throne there in South Philly. They got a brand new parking spot for King Herz. Yes. I mean, holy shit. Is this guy an ego? Time Man of the Year, man. When you get to Time Man of the Year, that puts you right there on that pedestal, huh? Hey, how about improving your passing game, kid? Hey, by the way, I'm going to make this point to you. The Philadelphia Eagles 2004-2005 Super Bowl team, here's something new for all you Eagle fans to have to digest. Ready? Old news. Old news. This is a brand new year, 2025. Old news. Stop bringing up Super Bowl champs. Doesn't matter. Old news. It is a low-hanging fruit comeback. It has nothing to do with this year. Zero. For the record, our boy Xander will join us at 3:30. John Morgan. The legendary John Morgan from Morgan & Morgan at 4:30, and Boomer Esiason will join us. That'll be at 5:30 from WFAN in New York. We will get his thoughts. Maybe he was at the Met Gala last night, seeing Jaylen and all his cohorts there with the NFL. How you doing? By the way, see this? Old news. See this? Old news. See this? Old news. Old news. Completely different football team. You guys and I had a little conversation. We're going to go over that topic from yesterday. Old news. Every single time somebody brings that up, folks, tell them old news. Old news. You want every time you bring up Super Bowl and you say Super Bowl, old news. Rear view mirror. Old news. Old news. Old news. Old news. Old news and new team. Get yourselves buckled up. How you doing? Oh, we got a shitload of topics today. We absolutely do. Quarterbacks at the Met Gala should be working on his passing game because he blows as a quarterback when it comes to throwing the ball. Let me say this to you. How many people in here believe this? If that football team doesn't win the Super Bowl, you're going to have a major meltdown with A.J. Brown and Jaylen Herz. Yes or no? In my opinion, the only reason you do not have a nuclear meltdown is because the old news team won it. You will have a nuclear meltdown if A.J. Brown has the same season but no Super Bowl. Absolutely true. Prediction. There will be a catastrophic meltdown if A.J. Brown has the same season he had a year ago and you do not win it. And you're 30th in passing. Yes or no? You want to see the lies in here? Watch this. Never. Why, you had it last year when you were on your Super Bowl run. Absolutely a lie. Everyone in here and these Eagle fans are fucking lying. Lying. What's this? Liar. Liar. Okay? There you go. Liar. It's all gravy now. That's a good take, actually. Hey, they got their ring. F it now, right? There you go. I completely agree. Liar. Nobody in here doesn't believe. Hell, AJ has meltdowns when you're winning. 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 Liar. Let's go, Big Sills. Afternoon. What do you think of Chiriani? Still no contract yet. Hey, the greatest coach in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. Where's his deal? The highest paid coach in North American sports. $25 million. Where is it? Oh, wait, they've already cut it. And they're keeping the number one salary in all of North American coaching silent. Yeah, that sounds like the Eagles. Okay? Yeah, that sounds like them. A.J. Brown / A.J. Owens. If that guy, hey, for those of you in here who have a common sense, old news. For those of you who have common sense, if the passing offense is 30th again and they don't win the Super Bowl, how do you think that wonderful relationship between A.J. Brown and Jaylen Herz will go this year? I'm going to make a point to you. This is a huge year for A.J. A.J.'s not guaranteed to retire an Eagle, and he's not going to. He's not going to. 2000, bro, that means doo-doo. Doo-doo. You can have years left on your contract. and still get moved. That's Hassan Reddick's ass. That's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Ask him. You could have years still on your deal, and they'll move your ass. Don't talk to me about that. Stop acting stupid. A.J. Brown, get this. He'll get a 2-year contract extension when you got to pay all those guys on defense. Fake news. That ain't happening. Why in the world would I pay a run? Why would I pay A.J. Brown all that money when I'm running the football with Barkley? Why in the world would I do that? I'm going to put more of my money in the O-line, all right? A.J. Owens will have a meltdown in 2025. Book it. Book it, Dano. Kyle, great take. Great take. Take of the day. I'm going to start writing it down. And at the end of the program, you know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start awarding people on supers take of the day. Kyle, right now, Kyle the Polish guy. Holy God. Here we go. Kyle the Polish guy, my boy, my statistician. You were the first one up with the best one. AJ Meltdown. AJ Ski. 2025. You're the first one up on the Big Sills Price is Right. How you doing? There's my boy, New Jersey Maniac. I love this guy. Oh, hey, what do you mean not that today? What do you think? We're going fishing for guppies? That's the people at the Gala and over there at the Met Gala where King Hertz and Nelson Mandela Diggs were sitting there showing off their gear. Yeah. AJ already has 1 foot out the door. Kimbo's. Look at this. That's another one. Kimbo's. Seriously, at the end of the program each day, someone's getting the Big Sills Take of the Day award. It's a merit badge. Wear it proudly. Very few get it. How many people believe that A.J. Brown's got to have a huge year this year to come back for 2027? I do. What's the point of having that guy on the football team if that guy's not going to have the ball thrown to him and he's going to start bitching, and rightfully so? Xander Krause, once again, with the good start of a topic. Big Sills will finish it. Well, let's see. He's already considered one of the top 3, if not my favorite, or second favorite wideout in the game. A.J. Brown is the second best wide receiver in football next to the guy in Minnesota. If he had a better passer, this is why he's melting down. If A.J. Brown had a decent passer, he'd be catching $2,000. How in the world could you look at that and go, well, the guy's got 1,300 yards and the quarterback can't throw for 3,000 yards? Can you imagine if he actually had somebody? This is about legacy now. He's got his ring. He's got 2 NFC title rings. This is about gold jacket for A.J. Brown. This guy has almost the trifecta. If he finishes in the top 10 in receiving yards, with the Super Bowl and 2 Super Bowl appearances. You want to hear this? Randy Moss, he doesn't have a Super Bowl championship. Megatron doesn't have a Super Bowl championship. This will put him in that room where very few people who were considered the top wideouts in their decade had a Super Bowl title next to their name. This is about his legacy. Xander made some comment yesterday about Malik Neighbors. I'll practice all this and that. Well, guess what? AJ's got the hardest task of his resume done. That's winning a Super Bowl. Wide receivers are divas, rightfully so. These guys want the ball thrown to them, rightfully so. These guys are high paid, rightfully so. Now it's about filling in the resume. Have you won a title? Yes. Have you been one of the most prolific passers or pass catchers? Yes. Imagine if you had anybody who was decent at throwing the ball. Anybody's better than Hertz throwing the ball. This is not about winning anymore. This is about legacies. That's why he's bitching quietly. That will change. Get this. Just run the ball. That guy's not worried about that now. He's worried about legacy. Hey, get this. This guy's a fucking idiot if he doesn't know how wide receivers act. You tell me, folks, is AJ right now in the part of his career where he thinks about his resume and legacy? Yes or no? You think this guy's a team guy? He was bitching how they were winning last year. Wow. Keep denying it and lying. Liars. Liars. You can't admit it. This guy doesn't give a shit any longer about winning. He has. He has won. This is about his resume now. This is about him and being considered one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. And you're not going to be one of the greatest wide receivers when you're on one of the worst passing teams in NFL history. You might be on the worst passing team to ever win a Super Bowl. Get this. Hating on Hertz? I'm not hating on Hertz. I'm talking about A.J. Brown. And if it so happens that he doesn't have a quarterback who can't even sniff through $4,000 and he wants more targets and more passes, it's the facts. Elite. Yes, A.J. Brown, huge year, although 2024 he was second team All-Pro. Did he make the Pro Bowl too? By the way, Jason, he wants that to continue. You start getting rid of Dallas Goedert, adding tool tight ends and a fullback. Let me ask you guys something here. Put this into your little thinking process. Do you think adding a fullback is a good sign for the receivers and the quarterback in the passing game? Or do you think it's more of an indictment on the quarterback that they're going to run it more? Yes or no? Do you think that's a good sign for the wideouts? A.J. Brown can make $35 million anywhere in the league right now. Get this. This has nothing to do with resume. He's got that done. Missing it, all of you. You think these players right now are thinking about team when you've won a Super Bowl? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Dude, I'm not talking about what you have to do that's right. Wait a minute. Sue, get this. Sue, running the ball, playing team offense, I'm not disputing that. I am not disputing what's right. I'm talking about what's right for A.J. Brown. Get this. These people think I'm reaching here. Okay, yeah. A.J.'s job is only job now is blocking now. You think that's what that guy wants? Absolutely not. Reaching, I'm reaching. Right. Okay. Because that's how A.J. Brown acts. Reaching. You're denying. So compare Aikman and Hertz's passing. I'm not talking about Aikman and Hertz. I'm talking about A.J. Brown. That's who I'm talking about. Bro, you're missing it again. Missing it again. And for the record, Latino, Troy Aikman had Emmitt Smith for 12 years. 12 years. He had Emmitt. You've had Barkley 1. 12 years. Emmitt Smith was in Dallas. It's a far cry, dude. It's a far cry. Sills, that type of stats, AJ will be. No, he wasn't. Oh, my God. Are you guys high? So let me ask you this. If A.J. Brown is on one of the 5 worst passing offenses this year and you don't win it, how's that going to end the season, in your opinion? Ask yourself. You be all right with it? You have one of the 5 worst passing teams in football. Well, Sills, that didn't result. I'm not talking about your Super Bowl or how to win a game here. That's not what we're talking about. You're trying to confuse 2 topics. Stay with me, kids. Yeah. Why mean, Sil? Mean? There's no mean. I'm trying to make a point to you. And your stupidity. Ask yourself. M. Reyes says this stat or this comment is wrong. If you don't win a Super Bowl and you're one of the 5 worst passing teams again, AJ's cool with that. That's what M. Fraud's saying. M. Fraud is saying that he's okay with that. Okay? Not about me, douche. Hey, la bada douche. Not about me. Jaylen is busy attending mate galas, shopping for silks and skulls, yachting on the French Riviera, going to the caviar tastings, and playing a game of squash and cricket. Then a little bit of polo there at the Gentlemen's Club. Yes, in Dorchester, up in nice Massachusetts. Pump's on that list now. Dorchester, the Polo and Yacht Club, where they hold the America's Cup and up in Kennebunkport, with the bushes. King Hertz, how you doing? Sills, A.J. Owens complaining more than OnlyFans. Yeah, hey, there you go, Kyle. I didn't call you mean. You misread it, Sills. What's new, right, Eagle? Yeah. Thank you, brother. Hold on. I'm keeping score here today with you guys. 88 didn't reach 1,100 yards until he came. I'm not talking about this right now. I'm talking about Hall of Fame. Should blame himself. Why? He came for the winning. Wait a minute. Rashid. Thank you very much. Rashid. He came for the winning. He had to have that checked off on his resume. So he's got 2 NFC titles. Now, it's like Sue said, this is gravy for him. Now it's about filling in as Sue would hate, thoughts. Because that's what receivers are paid on, is thoughts. Okay? Okay? Yes. I'm talking about resumes here. Okay? Yeah, Dan don't do drugs. You imagine me on drugs? Holy cow. That'd be a problem. Okay? Hey, all I'm saying to you guys is you can guarantee you. Hey, how about this one? let's kind of expand on a topic those guys were hitting on. How do you think this offseason would be if you didn't win the Super Bowl and you were 30th in passing? How do you think that relationship with Jaylen and AJ would be? You're known as one of the worst passing teams in football. You think any receiver in the league would want to play with Jaylen Herz at wideout? Why? You don't get paid on winning. Can't spell Sileo without likes. Can't spell Reyes without an array of bullshit. Hey, he don't want to admit it. That's fine. Most of you don't. You have one of the 5 worst passing teams in football. Facts. Facts. Yes, get this. Do you have one of the 5 worst? Hey, you want to see something that's actually a fact? And watch people not be able. AJ sees the writing on the wall. He's no fool. Absolutely true. Let me ask you this. Do you guys think you have one of the 5 worst passing teams in football? Yes or no? Here. Do you guys think you have one of the 5 worst passing teams in football? Yes or no? Get this. No. No. The guy throws for as many yards as the guy at Army did this year. Nah, really. This guy couldn't even throw for 3,000 yards last year. So, yeah, I'm sure top flight wide receivers are scrambling to get to Philly and block for Saquon. Hey, yeah, I'm sure that's what Tyreek Hill wants to do. Yeah, put me up there. No, I'm looking to find a quarterback who can get me the ball. What about winning? Screw it. I don't care. 5 worst passing teams and all of pro football. I'm talking about A.J. Brown's resume. Nothing more. Do you think he's happy with a quarterback who's one of the worst passing quarterbacks in the game? A reach? What's a lie? You think Jaylen's lit it up throwing the ball in the league? Absolutely not. He's been one of the worst starting quarterbacks on a good team in the league when it comes to the pocket. Facts. I mean, what are you looking at? What exactly are you looking at? Get this. That's not what we're talking about. Old news. Okay? What is that thing? I'm not talking about Jaylen Herz. I'm talking about A.J. Brown. I'm not talking about Hertz, His Majesty. I'm talking about A.J. Brown. Stay with me, folks. Stay with me. Okay? I'm not talking about Jaylen Herz. I'm talking about A.J. Brown. Stay with me, kid. Very simple. This is a very easy exercise. Oh. Okay. Now we're getting into a different area. Still, nobody cares if AJ's happy or not. Well, wait a minute. Then why are you paying him $35 million? To make him happy? Why? Why are you making so you're paying a guy $35 million and you don't care if he's happy? Then why'd you give him a 2-year contract extension when you had 2 years remaining? Wally? Well, wait a minute. Not having A.J. Brown would hurt the team on the field. And I'm not saying it wouldn't. A.J. Brown's on one of the worst passing offenses in all of pro football. One of the 5 worst. You're not getting to the Hall of Fame on being considered one of the 5 worst passing teams in football. Sills, we won the Super Bowl. No one's talking about that. I'm talking about A.J. Brown's legacy. You're missing it once again. Don't tie in the Eagle winning. That's true. I'm going to run the ball. Hey, this coming season, I'm going to put the fullback in, and I'm going to ride Saquon Barkley. No question. Nobody's debating that. I'm talking about A.J. Brown's legacy and how he sees his place in NFL history. And if you don't think that right now, as he's climbing near 30, is something in his agenda, you're nuts. Seals A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry in Tennessee. Okay? You just hate. I'm not talking about Jaylen Herz. This is about A.J. Stay with me, son. Thank you for the super. That's not a horrible super chat. So you're going to be number 4. Kwanku? You're number 4. You're absolutely missing this. You're missing. That's correct. What's next? Hall of Fame. You're missing it, Sydney. You can't stay. You think A.J. Brown is going to do what's best for the team. He's not. No player does. Once you win that ring, now it's about filling in resume. Let me tell you something. Without the Super Bowl appearances, Hertz goes nowhere near the Super Bowl. Excuse me, the Hall of Fame. Nowhere near it because he will not even in today's passing game, he's considered below average. Okay? I am talking about A.J. Brown and how he sees his place in NFL history moving forward. Get this. Nobody is talking about this. It has nothing to do with our conversation on A.J. Brown. Nothing. So let me ask you something here. Let me look something up. Let's take a look at somebody who just got inducted into the Patriot Hall of Fame. Let's take a look at this. I'll show you something here. Let's see here. Okay. So Julian Edelman has 3 Super Bowl championship rings, an MVP in the Super Bowl. He has 6,822 receiving yards. You think he's going to Pro Football Hall of Fame? Is that guy going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Got 3 rings. He's got a Super Bowl MVP. You think Julian Edelman's going to the Hall of Fame? 3 rings. An MVP in that game. He's got less than 7,000 receiving yards. AJ will have a Pro Bowl year and Sills will be eating up. Sure. Yeah. Okay. You better win the Super Bowl or he'll be screaming at you. Get this. How many people believe a guy with less than 7,000 receiving yards? He's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame with 3 rings and an MVP in the Super Bowl. I don't. The only way he's going to the Hall of Fame is if he buys the ticket. It's got to be the numbers. Right? It's not winning. Shit, Edelman, if I look down Julian Edelman, I bet you Julian Edelman is one of the all-time receivers postseason-wise. I bet you he has, when you talk about all-time receivers in postseason, Edelman's got to be up there. Guy won't sniff a Hall of Fame. There is no more accomplished wide receiver in Super Bowl play than Julian Edelman. That includes Randy Moss. Excuse me. Jerry Rice. Yes, still stirring drama. Hey, hold on here. What's this? What did I see? Stats? Julian Edelman has 3 Super Bowl rings. And a Super Bowl MVP. That's not a stat. According to you, Edelman's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He'll never go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ever. So what gets you in? What gets you in? I see. Get this. So you're going to apply it because you think he's some team guy. Edelman is more of a postseason champion than A.J. Brown will ever be. But A.J.'s got a shot at the Hall of Fame. Edelman doesn't. And he's more accomplished in the postseason. Why would A.J. go in? Stats. So, right? Take a look at where he is right now. Let's see. All-time receiving yards. NFL. Let's take a look at it, where he is. So let's do this. Let's take a look at this. Guys, please hit the like button. Larry Fitzgerald, no Super Bowl wins. Number 2. Terrell Owens, no Super Bowl wins. He's number 3. Randy Moss, no Super Bowl wins. He's number 4. Tony Gonzalez, no Super Bowl wins. He's number 6. These are Hall of Famers. Tim Brown, Hall of Famer, no Super Bowl rings. Number 7. Marvin Harrison, Super Bowl, and Canton. Andre Johnson, Hall of Fame, no Super Bowls. Number 11. Chris Carter, no Super Bowls, Hall of Fame. Number 12. Andre Reed, number 15, Hall of Fame. No rings. So would you rather be a Hall of Famer or 3 Super Bowl wins? Again, you're moving the yardsticks. I'm talking about A.J. Brown. He's got the ring. Now he wants the Hall of Fame. He wants it both. Julian Edelman is not a Hall of Fame wide receiver, and he's got 3 Super Bowls and an MVP in that game. And for the record, any NFL player will tell you, I'd rather be a Hall of Famer. Or I'd rather be what? Are you going to try to tell me that you think that Jahan Dotson, because he's got a ring, is better than Larry Fitzgerald? How asinine of a take is that? I'd rather be Jahan Dotson and Britton Covey than Larry Fitzgerald or Randy Moss or Terrell Owens. Get this. Look at this douche. Alabala douche. This guy'd rather have a Super Bowl ring and be Britton Covey than Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, or Larry Fitzgerald. Funny. Who in their right mind would be that? Who in their right mind would say that? You could be a scrub and have a Super Bowl ring. You could be a scrub. You're right. The king, the king. Hey, that's why when you guys are going like this, look at Jaylen. Hey, Jaylen. This guy's the 5th worst passing offense in pro football, and he's at a Gala instead of working on his game like Brady. Oh, I've got like tea and crumpets and Deutschstar at the cricket club. And yes, and we'll be attending the America's Cup this year. It's just the way it is. Every 4 years, they have it down in Australia or up in Rhode Island, or they're off the coast of San Diego, at the San Diego Yacht Club. Holy cow. The Met Gala. Yeah. I mean, what guy didn't look right there? It was Hertz. I mean, everyone else kind of looked and fit in. I don't know. Then there was Jaylen. I'm like, 5th worst passing quarterback in pro football. The Super Bowl MVP on the caboose of the team, because the team was led by the freight train known as the Barkley Freight Train. Oh, man. I wonder how AJ's going to handle that this year, man, when you guys don't win the Super Bowl. I'm probably going to be good. It's going to be so – oh, my God. Hey, last year watching this, and now this year, this is going to be even better. Oh, my God. What a year this is going to be. Holy cow. Is this going to be great? You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to be taking notes on how this whole thing went. Okay? Oh, okay. I'll take the field. You're on. I'll take the field versus the Eagles this year. We're going to talk about your so-called conversation we had yesterday. And I'm going to point some things out that all of you missed. Sorry, I got to talk a little more regal now because the king is speaking. He has a royal court now, the clutch folks. Make sure that, we have to have a little more of a regal attitude here. Let's see here. I'm at 4 now with decent takes off the supers. We're going to have a take of the day. So far, it's Kyle. These guys are idiots. Super Bowl's a team award. Thank you, Mikey. Mikey, you're on this. Mikey. Hall of Fame is an individual award that awards the best of the best. Your name will live forever. It's a great take. Great. Mikey, you're in there. You and Kyle are going to battle it out right now. Even though that other dude, he gave me a shitty one, he's on this list. Ass kissing is not part of the take of the day. Prediction, this will be AJ's last season. That right there, Duel, I'm with you. Let's go here. AJ doesn't have a shot at the Hall of Fame unless traded, because it'll increase his numbers if he goes somewhere with a big-time quarterback. Jaylen Herz is a court jester. Kyle, I'm going to leave the first one. Let's, but thank you. Thank you. I got 6. 6 candidates for take of the day. Okay? 6. Can you see AJ this year if they're 30th again in passing? He's out there blocking again like he did in Tennessee. Yeah. If I were AJ right now, where would I want to be? I'd want to be traded to Buffalo. I'd want to be traded to who throws the ball better than this guy? Tampa. Oh my God, AJ Brown taking over for Mike Evans in Tampa would be good. Let's see. Who else throws the ball exceptionally better than this guy? Shit, the guy in Carolina does. Almost beat him. He was the best quarterback on the field that day. Let's see. Where else could he go? I don't want to go to Arizona if I'm AJ. I don't want to go to I don't want to go to LA Rams because I don't know what they're going to do there. You know, I have no idea what they're going to have there as a passer after Stafford. So that's not something I'm interested in. Barkley attended. No issues. Hertz attend. Same event. A joke of bias much. Wait, hey, DC, it's not that he missed. Barkley's been at everywhere. He went to the White House, went to the Met Gala, representing the Eagles. He doesn't pick and choose. He's there for the Eagle organization, no matter if it's something you like or something you don't like. There lies the difference. I'll pick and choose. I don't want to be with my team, so I'm going to be here with, the celebrities because I'm now a celebrity because I'm Time Man of the Week. Dude, Saquon Barkley has no prejudices. He represents himself and his organization the right way. He attends everything. With his team, without his team. Okay? That's the quintessential face of a franchise. Sometimes you do shit you don't like to do. I don't know. I have more respect for Saquon Barkley than I do Hertz. And Jaylen, I have respect for. I do. I just have more respect for Barkley. Boy, I'll tell you, if you're the New York Giants, I can't wait to get Boomer Esiason on at 5:30. How do you let that kind of character walk out your building? How do you let that kind of character walk out? No wonder the Giants are a shit organization. You can't let that kind of character. I get John McMullen's take. The Giants aren't set up for that. But I'll ask you this. Are the Giants missing just the fact you're talking about a running back? You're talking about a leader. Okay? A.J. Brown in a chart. Ooh. Sig. Yes. A.J. Brown in L.A. with all the hoochie mamas catching 1,600 yards a year with that big arm. Got your Super Bowl ring in the bag already. Get to hang out on the beach. Get to be a star like His Majesty. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. These are always my favorite. Or where's this? This is always my favorite. That's always my favorite, especially in today's times. Oh, God, I love those takes. Those are the best. Those right there, Jed, one of my favorite takes. Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorites. Can't get away from that because you always have a guy in here that's a complete asshole. Sills, you act like everybody has to be the best friends. No, I don't. Not everybody on the team is. The only thing that matters is that you get your shit together come game day. So you think that that locker room had nothing to do with each other last year and those guys and how they played? Is that correct? Okay. Really? I thought that was one of the best football teams together-wise I'd ever seen. Guys, do me a favor. Please, on this historical, majestic day here, after the Met Gala, hit the like button, and we respect you, and we may knight someone at the end of the program as the take of the day. So we thank you very much for your humble attendance here today. It's got to be more regal, doesn't it? Can't just be big sales barking all the time. It's got to have a culture. Because we have the culture now of the king. King Hutz and his mysterious court of whomever. Oh, mud on to me. This can't get any better. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, let's move on to this one. So yesterday we had a conversation. By the way, all super chats, some of you will be considered for the take of the day, and you will get a Big Sales merit badge. Some of you will not. I only pass these out on days like this when we're celebrating royalty from the royal family now. Don't fall in love with players. Love the team. Well, that doesn't work for wideouts. You're right. Hey, by the way, none of you are wrong. Just we got to run. Are you saying we shouldn't run the ball? No. I'm not saying that. Still, you're saying we should go away from what we did a year ago? No. I think we should do more of it. I'm sure that'll I'm sure that fullback being added is a great sign for A.J. Brown and his targets, is having a fullback added. Adding a fullback means what? Less throws. More running. With the freight train known as Barkley. I'm sorry, I don't know how I'm doing. I don't know why I'm in this. I feel like royalty today. It's like a royal, like, when you're watching like the royal family and they're at Windsor. I don't know why I'm thinking this way. Kind of crazy, actually. Rich people do rich people shit. Let the man enjoy. If he's worked his whole life for this. Hey, wait a minute, Jack. Let me ask you something. It's funny. During Brady's time and during Peyton Manning's time, Peyton Manning still doesn't have a social media, any presence whatsoever. And when he played, he never was involved with it. He never really went out anywhere, and nor did Brady ever go out. Brady just got through telling Shedeur Sanders, stop buying Rolls Royces, get in the film room, study more, prepare more. I don't remember Brady at Gala's and at a cricket club and enjoying life. I don't remember. I have no idea why I'm in this mode. It's kind of refreshing in a way, kind of like, you could be somebody you're not. Oh, maybe that's what he's doing. Because I thought he was a humble guy. See, I like people that stick to who they are because that makes it genuine. But playing with the contract. Okay? AJ was on pace for 1,400 yards if not injured. If he would have been third in the league with 1,500 plus yards on bad teams, isn't it guaranteed either? Hey, Kyle, I know this. He's got a better chance of having 1,500 yards every year with a better passer than being on a team. Okay? Than being on a team. I got you here. Jesus, criminy. Relax. Than being on a team. And by the way, these conversations always seemingly get upsetting to people because you know why? I'm not talking about Jaylen Herz here, actually. I don't know why you guys are. I'm talking about A.J. Brown and how he acts. You're missing this entire conversation. You're missing the entire conversation. You are over here hearing something different. And I'm trying to talk to you about a player that believes in targets and yards are going to make him a Hall of Fame football player. You are completely missing my conversation today. Okay? Completely missing it. You're so concerned about if Hertz is if somebody's talking bad about him or saying anything that helps another player out, you get your panties in a bind. It's not what this is. This is a conversation about one guy, A.J. Brown, no one else. And you can't handle it. I'm only going off the way the player acts, A.J. Brown. I made a comparison to you. Julian Edelman, if he had been and had better numbers, he'd be a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. But he did what was right for the team and stayed in New England. And he won 3 Super Bowls. Super Bowl MVP, one of the great postseason players of all time. And he'll go nowhere near the Hall of Fame. Players want to go to the Hall of Fame, too, when everything's said and done. They want both. And that's what Brown wants. And I don't blame him. A.J. Brown's got the Super Bowl ring. He's been there twice. That's better than any modern-day receiver in the – name me a wide receiver in today's NFL that has a shot at the Hall of Fame right now that's active, that has the resume of A.J. Brown. But by the way, let's see where he's ranked. Shit. Never happened. Where is he? A.J. Brown is 162nd in pro football. How old is this guy? How old is A.J. Brown? Somebody help me out. Kyle, how old is he? He is 162nd in a modern-day passing NFL. I mean, he's not even in the top 150. Say he gets $6 more grand. Okay? Say he gets $6 more grand over the next 4 years. 28, 29, 30, 31. Was 32 years old. Let's see what $4 grand. That pits him 60th. You think a guy like that is going to go to the Hall of Fame 60th in receiving yards? 60th. That's if he gets $5 grand. He's 162nd right now. And on the 30th ranked passing attack, he ain't getting there. That's my point. That's what he's looking at. He's got the winning. Dude, this guy's closer to 200 than he is to the top 20. Get this. There is no shot in hell that A.J. Brown will finish in the top 20 in pass receiving with that quarterback and with that offense currently constructed the way it's going to be this year. You think that guy's going to end up with 14,000 yards to get into the top 20? Never happened. He's going to gain 7,000 more yards at the age of 28. This guy's looking at Hall of Fame now. That's what he sees. He knows it. That put him over Sterling Sharpe? Let's see. It's a good take. I never thought Sterling Sharpe was a Hall of Famer, but he got in on the Veterans Committee. Remember that? He got in on the Veterans Committee. It took 26 years to get him in. Let's see. Shannon is at 10,000. Let's see. Sterling. Where is Sterling? Sterling's got 8,000. And I think he played, let's see, he's 109 right now. And he played in 112 ball games. He only played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And he got in with 8,000 yards. He got in on the Veterans Committee. That's a 25-year process. So he may get in 25 years after he's retired. Get this. Once again, not knowing the Hall of Fame process. That's 25 years after his retirement. Oh, wait. Let's double check that. how many years after would AJ potentially have to wait? Let's see, 109. There's Sterling. Actually played with Sterling. Actually made a couple all-star teams with Sterling. Let's see, what was his last season? 1993. So how many years? Let's see. 2000. Nice try, kid. Let's see here. 1993. Let's see here. 32 years. So maybe in 32 years, after A.J. Brown's retired, he'll get in. Maybe. Okay? Maybe he'll get in. Only took 4 decades. I mean, Hall of Fame? He's on a trajectory to be a Hall of Fame? How do you see that? Just because you have a resume, I'm winning a Super Bowl and going to 2. I showed you a guy with 3 rings and a Super Bowl MVP, and will go nowhere near the Hall of Fame. He may get in. Julian Edelman may get in one day on the Veterans Committee. Well, that'll be 30 years from now. And get this, of the top 10 guys, how many guys won Super Bowl rings? 1? 2? 3. And 2 of them were with the Colts. Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. And Wayne ain't in yet. Jerry Rice, 3. 7 of the top 10 didn't win Super Bowls and got into the Hall of Fame. Why? Well, because of numbers. Okay? Here, that's easy. Every game that Jerome didn't play, I had 10 tackles a game. Would you like me to show you? Because I can. He missed 4 games his senior year. Every game he wasn't in, I had north of 12 tackles in those games. I had like 49 tackles in the 4 games he didn't play and 4 sacks. Sills, do you think Hines Ward should be a Hall of Famer? Let's take a look at that. $12,000 receiving yards. Number 30 all time. That'll change. I believe he's a Super Bowl champion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his 14 years. And he was a Pro Bowler 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Had 100 catches once. Close. You can make the argument that Hines Ward's got as good a resume as A.J. Brown will ever have. A.J.'s a better player than Hines, though. He's a better ball player. So, yes. Again, guys are missing the point. You're completely missing what I said today. I knew that it's so predictable that anytime the passing game is brought up, every Eagle fan has a meltdown over His Highness. Instead of pointing out you have one of the 5 worst passing games in football. Whatever. Super Bowl champs, old news. Old news. It's a different team. And it's factual. I went back and looked at our topic. Okay? You don't have anywhere near the same team. We have the same core. Well, we're going to take a look at that here in a moment. If you think that A.J. Brown is going to be cool being one of the 5 worst passing teams in football, Didn't Xander tell you guys the mentality of a Malik Neighbors and how receivers think? That's not just isolated to the receiver in New York. That's how they all think. And you think that's you think that's just like something that, well, because he's an Eagle. No, the only reason he didn't bitch is because they won. He was bitching when they were winning, reading books on the sideline. Yeah, right. Because that's a book he reads. You know what that is also? That's a lack of interest in what's going on around you. Because he has no caring about how they're winning ball games. Let me tell you something. I don't mind guys being eccentric. I really don't. But when you're on the sidelines with me and you're sitting there and you're making a statement and a visual statement that, well, how we're winning ball games really has nothing to do with me. So I'll read a book to make me feel a little bit more inspired. That's all I need to know about the guy. It's not that he's not a good player. He's a fabulous player. Not that he's not a good teammate. He's a fabulous teammate. He's a wide receiver in today's NFL. There's a reason those guys make the money they make. Why? Because it's a high-profile position. Hey, dude, it's one thing to be a D tackle or edge rusher. Those guys have high profile too. Corners, high profile. Quarterbacks, Majesty, King Hertz, all high profile. AJ's no different. AJ wants to leave this game a Hall of Famer. And I want him to too. Rooting for him. Dude, he's doing all the right things. When you put his name, by the way, so you guys know, and many of you do know this already, I put a list together for Hall of Famers every year. A.J. Brown, was he a teammate in the blocking game? Yes. Did he bitch? Who cares? Who cares? Did he produce? Absolutely. Who did he block for? Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. And still produced numbers and won. And finished in the top 20 in receiving. Shit. How do you not consider him? That's if he gets there. AJ, record consecutive 175 games in NFL ever. HOF. AJ, record consecutive 175-yard game. Bro, you're out of your fucking mind if you think one season or one game's getting you to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Name me one guy in pro football history that had a superstar year in an average career and got in. Name me one. Name me one player. How many of those 2,000-yard rushers got in the Hall of Fame? Take a look at this. Shit, I need a guy with 3 Super Bowl rings and MVP to get in. 2,000-yard rushing club. NFL. Let's see. Let's see how many of these guys are in. I'll bet you quite a few of them. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. OJ's in. Dickerson's in. Sanders is in. Davis is in. Jamal Lewis isn't. Chris Johnson isn't. Peterson will be. Henry will be. So 6 of the 9. Barkley's not getting in. Doesn't have enough rushing yards. He won't even finish in the top 20 in rushing. Let's see where Barkley is. Career rushing. He's at 7,000 rushing yards. And how old is he? Let's see here. He's 28. Never happened. So 6 of the 9 guys got in. Yeah. And once again, nothing on Barkley. The New York Giants hosed him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. OJ, Dickerson, Sanders, Davis. Lewis didn't get in. Johnson didn't get in. Peterson will. Henry will. Barkley will not. So there'll be 3 of the 9 will not get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know why? Those guys all had one great year. Let me say this. Barkley gets injured this year. It's over. He has to have like 5,000 rushing yards just to get into the top 20. Tomlinson never gained $2,000. Okay? All right, bottom of the hour. Xander's going to join us. John Morgan will join us at 4:30. Boomer Esiason will hit us up. That'll be at 5:30. Xander, we got to text him at 4 o'clock. Boomer Esiason, just to make sure, because he's going to be in traffic and he's hoping that he can get there for us at 5:30. So we got to touch him up there at 4 o'clock at the top of the hour Eastern time. Get this. This guy, once again, misses the entire point again. He says if Barkley has another Super Bowl run, he'll get in. I just named you a guy with 3 Super Bowl rings and a Super Bowl MVP, and he's not in. But Barkley gets in? How? If Julian Edelman doesn't get in and he doesn't have the numbers to get in, he's got the rings. He's got a Super Bowl MVP. How does Barkley get in? Edelman deserves more of an opportunity to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame than Barkley does. I mean, what are you talking about here? Who's had a better postseason career? Julian Edelman, by far. He won't get in. Doesn't have the numbers. Doesn't have the numbers. Terrell Davis got in. Yeah, Terrell Davis got in because they looked at his injuries. That's how he got in. Barkley's no Terrell Davis. Dude, what up? I'm not going to debate that stupid conversation when you're 70th in rushing and you're 28 years old. Okay. Good luck to you. Hope it works out. All right. So yesterday we had a spirited conversation. Please hit the like button here. So here was the topic. The 2025 Eagles are completely different right now than what you had 82 days ago. And here are the facts. It's not the same team. Let's start with the offense. New coordinator. New right guard. No tight end. You've downsized. I mean, where have you gotten better on offense from your Super Bowl team of 83 days ago? Is that not a different offense? The architect's gone. Right guard's gone. And Dallas Goedert's gone. I'm just asking. Is it a different offense? Yes or no? Let's see how imbecilic this is. Okay? Is it? Keep praying. Keep praying, my friend. Keep praying. Nothing like hope. Nothing like hope. Keep praying there. So, what do you think of the offense? What do you think the impact of a new court? You guys are ripping the Detroit Lions for losing a coordinator. Well, how about you? And adding a guy who's never been a play caller. You all right? New play caller. One player missing in the O-line. Actually, 2 players missing in the O-line. Dallas Goedert and Mekhi Becton. Okay? I'm asking you about you, not others. You. Where have you gotten better on offense? Just a question. Nothing's wrong here on May 6th. Okay? If scare tactics are questions, you need to man up, dude. Where did you get better? Keep praying, son. Keep praying. If he stays healthy, you got better. Okay? So, you got a new coordinator. You've lost 2 players in your O-line. Okay? All right. So it's not the same offense. Or wait, do you think it's the same offense in 2025 that it was in 24? Do you? Yes or no? Again, no wrong answer. It's the same offense. You lost 3 starters. Steve says yes. Not worse. Lost 3 starters. Or, excuse me, 2 starters and a coordinator. Better. The Eagles were not perfect. You were 30th in passing. You were spectacular in one factor. Okay? Remains to be seen. I'll take that. Not talking about every team. I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles world champions. Nice try. Try again. Yeah, okay. Keep praying. Kimbo's. Okay. Better passing team. With who? 2904? All right. Let's go over to the defense. Here's your Super Bowl players that started the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Milton Williams, Oren Burks, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, Gardner Johnson. 5 starters that started every playoff game and the Super Bowl are gone. 7 starters and a coordinator are gone off the football team. How are you the same? It's not that. Here, it's not that you can't replace Milton or Josh. You got to replace 7. It's the group. Get this. How are they a group of average guys on a football team that won 14 ball games and blew out teams in the NFC title game and in the Super Bowl? And you're starting Keely Ringo. How's that possible? Then the guys that you're replacing him with are worse than Joe. Seven starters and a coordinator will not start in September. And you think you're the same team. How? Where are you getting that from? Once again, I'm not talking about the Chiefs or the Rams. Stay with me, son. So you've got 80 days to develop these guys. And players who are injured, you don't know what John Campbell looks like. You will not know until middle of September. Dean, will he be ready for September? He's not going to be ready for training camp. Nolan, we'll see what happens in training. Hopefully he's ready for camp. Hope so. Be great. How are you the same? Help me out on this. What you're doing is living in the past. You're living in the past on a football team that doesn't exist anymore. And you're giving the benefit of the doubt to the guy that's been creative and retooling and rebuilding, especially the last 5 years. Because after the Super Bowl in 2017, it was a train wreck. It ended up 3 years later getting Doug fired, right? As great as Doug was in 2017, 2 years later, he was fired. Did Doug get fired in 2019? Right? He got fired in 2019 because of the way the team looked. Is that right? Did Doug Peterson get fired in 19? Or was it 20 that he got fired in? I think it was 20. Because 21 was Sirianni's first year, right? It was 20. So let's see. Yeah, 3 years later, he was fired. Built a statue to guy. 3 years later, how's he get fired? Same architect, right? 3 years later, he's blown out. All right. Not saying that'll happen again, but it has happened. Well, so look what happened in 22. 23 wasn't as bad as the post-Doug stuff. Agreed, wasn't. Because you had built more of the football team around the quarterback position than you did around their other positions on the field. The two quarterbacks that you had with Foles and Wentz were instrumental in winning that Super Bowl. If you don't have both those guys on the team, obviously you don't win it. Obviously you don't win home field with Wentz, and you don't win a Super Bowl if you don't have Foles. And the receivers on that team were very mediocre. Let's be candid. 2017, Alshon Jeffries and those guys were fine. But they're not what you have now. The talent level on the team now is superior to that. Okay? Superior. So they've gotten better, no question, at rebooting. Not rebuilding, rebooting. They did a nice job. Here, though, you got 7 dudes that aren't on this team. Well, we got Apple replacements. Maybe. Maybe you do. And you got another guy who's going to be in Jaylen Hertz's ear. How many guys is that now for Jaylen? Okay, let's see. Nick, 21. Shane, and 21 and 22. Brian, 23. Kellen, 24. And now Kevin Patullo in 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coordinators in 5 years. Solid. Let's see here. Heard John say this. Let me do it. Let me rank Hertz's years. 22 is the best. Let's see. 22 is the best. 24 or 23, excuse me. Second, even though it's turnovers. I would say 2024 222 is the best. 23 second. 24, probably third. And 2025 would be fourth. Then his first year would be fifth. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 21. His best year was 2022. Last year was his third best year, even though, again, he wasn't asked to do much. With 5 different coordinators. Okay. Sure. I mean, you have a completely different football team. And every time you bring up Super Bowl champs, it's irrelevant to the conversation of 25. It's completely irrelevant. It has nothing to with today. You bring that up like it has any factor this year. It's a completely different group of dudes. Unless you've been on a football team, you would never know that. You think because the building's the same and the logo's the same and the equipment's the same, that the team's the same. Not true. Becton, a huge loss. Helped Barkley get open. Again, it's not just Becton. It's the 7 guys. It's a group. Then you count in Isaiah Rodgers. Then you start counting in people that you lost that were instrumental and also in the development of your second team. See, you've elevated a second team thinking that they're going to go, and you had people in here just now saying this, replaceable. You think 7 starters are replaceable off a Super Bowl title team? 7 out of 22 players. You're talking almost 25% of your team gone. And you think that's okay. And you're the same. Solid. Sills, let's be honest. Our defense got worse. We lose. Your defense got worse? I must have missed that in the Super Bowl. How did your defense get worse? You had a quarterback who was throwing for 90 yards in the postseason. Played exceptionally well in the the conference title in the Super Bowl. I mean, the passing game was atrocious in the first 2 rounds. Need our offense, especially Jaylen, to carry the mail. If we can't afford it, it'll be the same. Hey, Samuel, they're not going to throw the ball. Why would you? My conversation about A.J. Brown had nothing to do with right and wrong. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about A.J. individually. Sander was talking about Malik Neighbors. And Malik Neighbors, that attitude is not foreign to all receivers in the league. There you go, Chris. Wishful thinking, buddy. I'm hoping for you. I hope he does stay. Hope he does. Hope's not a strategy, son. Hold on. This is like the Met Gala last night. You know, lights were going on everywhere and red carpet. And, oh, look, there's Jaylen Herz. Oh, look at him down there. Oh, my God. Look at Jaylen. Look at that. Holy cow. Look at Jaylen. That signal. I don't know, man. From what I understand, he's got a tea party with the Prince of Wales next week. He's going to be him and Meghan Markle and his new wife are going to be hanging out with Oprah there at the Great Branch. Man, this guy's a big superstar now. King Caboose. Holy cow, man. I thought that was great last night. I couldn't show up with my team in DC. Hey, by the way, congratulations to DC, man. The draft's going to be there in 27. Hey, Josh Harris, man. Way to go, Philly. It's quite a Sixer owner. Hey, Josh Harris couldn't bring the draft to Philly, but I'll tell you, he's bringing it to DC. And by the way, how about this one? Hey, Xander, will you do me a favor? I know I own the Commanders now, but shit, I own the Sixers. Can you buy season tickets? How you doing? And you know what Philly fan will do? Shit. You didn't think about this when you got to root for the Sixers now. Watch here's a modern day Sixer fan. This is Xander here. Watch this. Hey, Xander, do you like the Sixers? Watch this. You go like this. Oh yeah. You wipe your mouth off. You feel like throwing up you feel like throwing up in a vomit bag on an airplane. All right. Without further ado, man, I'll tell you what, you want to listen to topics? I mean, you go to that Birds 365. I love Xander, though, man. This guy's playing ping pong, and he goes, and John brings the shit up, but yet somehow it comes out different over here in the afternoon. I don't know what it is, because when I say A.J. Brown's connected all the dots, he's got 2 NFC title rings and a Super Bowl, and this guy wants to go to Canton. Everyone's like, oh, that means Hertz sucks. Hey, I never said he did. You did. Without further ado, how you doing? To bring in royalty here, from what I understand, they're the king and the prince of Cape May. Our own, very own, Big Z. Xander Kraus joins us now, the Prince of Cape May.
Where'd you come up with that name? You don't have my mic? You can't hear me?
Can't hear you, kid. You must be connected into the...
What is going on?
Can't hear you, man.
You got me now?
Nope.
It's your computer. Tell me everybody else can hear me.
Nope.
I bet you everybody else can hear me. Yeah,
everybody... He's right. I accidentally hit F12.
Yeah. I knew everybody could hear me because I double-checked my mic right before I came on here. Where the heck did you come up with that name? I'll take it, though, man. My goal one day is to buy a house in Cape May. I'll kick my feet up there, do sports talk from there every day. Oh. I'm good. I'm good with that, man.
Bro, when I was a kid, I used to go to the Chesapeake Bay. I used to go on the beaches down there, and I used to go to Ocean City, Maryland, and all them places, man. God, I love that part of the country, man. Blue shell crabs and all that, man. I mean, seriously, dude. Now, Wildwood was way better. From what I understand, it's not what it is and what it used to be.
I still like Wildwood. I mean, yeah, people chirp it because it's a good spot for everybody to be able to go to. Yeah. I got love for every spot down there. A bunch of my friends growing up had places in Wildwood. So,
did you ever go up to Jones Beach?
Jones Beach, where's that?
It's outside of New York a little bit. You know, Jones Beach is. I didn't go up that way.
Nah, I'm not a North Jersey beach kind of guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Cape May was where my grandmother took us, and I've been going there my whole life. That's at the bottom. That's exit 0, big dog.
Bro, I used to live down there at that Jersey Shore, man. I mean, we used to just go down there all the time. Me and my boys would drive down, get on the 95, and go over there. Man, I had a blast.
I would move to Jersey right now if it wasn't so expensive tax wise.
Yeah,
it's like you. It's like you with the California tax. That's how expensive Jersey is. It's like, it might as well be more expensive than New York. So I would probably.
Did you see King Hertz last night at the Met Gala last night?
I saw him. I give him credit. He looked pretty dapper. But I don't really get it. Everybody was telling me all week, man, that this guy's on his honeymoon. Listen. You can choose to not care, but the guy clearly opted to go to this and not go to the White House, not go to A.J. Brown's and it's very clear here. These guys aren't boys anymore. Whatever. Just keep winning ball games, Big Sills.
I agree 100%. Hey, so I'm sitting here and I prepare my show and I'm listening to you guys and you start going in and all of a sudden I see your chat start blowing up and I'm like, ooh. Hang on here. That must be a topic for Big Cells.
Everybody was on my ass. I'm like, chill out. Good night.
I just started going like this. What are they talking about that's interesting here? It can't be about John breaking down draft pick in the 6th round. It's got to be something else over here. What? the passing off. Hang on here.
This jerk off taking shots. He
Hey.
gets credit and takes shots in the same 3 words.
Well, that's the nature of big sales. You can never change the stripes on a zebra.
I get it.
All right, so let me ask you this here. Let's try, and I know you will, but let's try to do this on a level of talking about one guy. So, A.J. Brown, right now, if this football team doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, and he's on one of the 5th worst passing teams in the league, and they don't win it, and they win it the same way. By the way, once again, they should run the ball. I'm not saying what's right here. I'm talking about A.J. Brown.
I know what you're talking about.
Legacy, his resume, what he wants to accomplish in the game. Do you not agree, Xander? The number one thing that he's checked off already is the Super Bowl appearances and the win. Right. Now he wants that gold jacket. That's what I'm talking about. If they end up one of the 5th worst passing teams in the league, like they did a year ago, and they don't win it, how's that fit with the court gesture known as A.J. Brown? He's gone.
He's gone. Are you kidding me? I don't even think he would make it to the 2027 season if that happens. This is I think so. I think where you bring this up is that you're toting a line where it's hard naturally for fans to differentiate. All right. There's human beings who have real life things, real life goals, real life aspirations, real life circumstances, real life things. And then there's a game. Okay. We're fans of the game.
Yep.
The players care about the game. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, they don't put the game before the person or themselves because, again, one is real life and one is a game. That's why I always laugh at people who get mad at me for sports takes. I'm like, what, are you mad at me because we don't agree on sports ball, dude? There's way more consequential things here that we could be mad at each other for. But I do think it matters. I think it 100% matters. I think A.J. Brown would be the first person to get the heck out of here. And I think he'd be fine to do it. I mean, he already posts every summer, in Patriots jerseys and stuff. Now, I know he grew up a Patriots fan, for whatever reason. But Sills has a good point, man. This guy wanted everything now. At what point, and here's the other thing I think people forget about. Like, all right, everybody's fine that we win without throwing the ball to AJ that much. All right, cool. That's your take. I agree with most of you, by the way. If you're AJ Brown, all right, and you know that you're one of the best wide receivers in football, doesn't that grind you up every single play you come off and you're like, man, I was open. Man, Absolutely. If I had the ball there, I was going end zone. If I had that, if he threw that ball up to me there, I was getting 60 yards. Like, that would grind any human's gears. Anybody who's good at anything in life wants to be able to do that thing to the fullest extent and to the best of their abilities. A.J. Brown is technically suppressed in this offense. And how many times have we talked about the crunch of the cap that's coming? I think it would be a logical thing at that point to probably move forward on from A.J. Brown if there is a stink next year. And I happen to agree with you that, like I said yesterday, I think he does a pretty good job, honestly.
He does.
He could have made a way bigger stink about it last year. They were winning games. He shut up. He was quiet for the most part, and he let it happen. But year 2, now with the Super Bowl, I agree with you. I happen to agree with you. I think this is way more of a case of AJ would put himself first, his career first. And again, the other thing you're talking about here, Sills, is this is like going to the Hall of Fame, being a historic figure in the NFL, that could feed you for life.
Oh my God.
Not that he won't be fed for life on what he's doing now, but you go to the Hall of Fame, that's a different aura about you. Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, the name, everything that you can do. You could open AJ Brown's restaurant and make $1 million in a blink of an eye when you have that. So I think it matters. I do. I think the real life element is bigger here than the game. They play a game as a team. Every human has their own individual aspirations. AJ Brown doesn't believe he's living up to those right now, and I think over time that would weigh on him for sure.
Let me ask you something about winning. I'm going to ask Boomer Esiason this question also at 5:30. John Morgan will join us at 4:30. Do you think the Super Bowl MVP 80 some odd days ago Do you see a change a little bit in the behavior of Jaylen Herz?
From when to when?
From the Super Bowl win and the MVP award to right now, a little bit, again, not bad. It's the rewards of winning that and getting that. And now with it, do you think it kind of like people look at him differently now? And he's now in a well, I'll tell you what, you're not one of the most influential people on the planet if you lose the Super Bowl, like I'm telling you.
I know that. And it's definitely changed. But here's the other thing I would say about this. I mean, doesn't there have to be a little bit of room for him to be like, bro, I can't do everything? Like he's been grinding all through the Super Bowl. Even after the Super Bowl, most people have their feet kicked up on the couch with their wife and their kids or whatever they're doing, and they're relaxing.
My point
Jaylen
is
Herz is flying around. Jaylen Herz is doing this. He's doing this. It's like, all right, I'm a dude that I grind my ass off. But bro, when I get off these shows, sometimes I don't even want to talk to other people because I talk so much here. So like, I get the element of Jalen's probably, but to your point, you're still the leader of the football team. Like, I think you got to show up for the team.
Goals change because the environment around you and the people around you change.
Right.
Expectations of you change.
I agree with that.
Your goals change as something you want, as something that you want to achieve.
Well,
that's
do you
human nature.
I don't really think he's changed, but what do you?
I think it's elevating. I think it's elevating. AJ Brown wanting to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer after winning a Super Bowl. Jaylen Herz wanting to be one of the most influential people and having people look at him differently is a reward. But it's different because those things are coming with it. So to me, what you do is you check out and go, well, look at my resume now, man. What do I want to become next? What's my next achievement? AJ Brown's next achievement is a gold jacket because he's checked off the boxes that were the hardest. Terrell Owens couldn't check that box off. Randy Moss couldn't check that box off. Yeah. They were in search of the Holy Grail their entire career. What was the one thing that got him into Canton? Numbers. Being able to have targets, a resume.
Dude, you just went through it, Jaylen or AJ's numbers. He's not going to Canton with those numbers.
He's 162 in receiving. He ain't getting nowhere.
And by the way, I think he's a Canton talent.
How about this? But to my point, Julian Edelman's got 3 rings and a Super Bowl MVP, and he's got 6,800 receiving yards, and he ain't going anywhere.
Right.
He's got a resume. What gets you into the Hall? Numbers.
Julian Edelman just got into the Patriots Hall of Fame.
I know, 37th man again. That's where I got this kind of topic from where, hey, get this, because I heard you go like this. This guy's a Canton guy. Dude, Barkley is a Canton talent. But Barkley's 28 with $7 grand rushing. Yeah. You got a lot.
I'll tell you what, if Barkley has another season like he had last year, though, I think they would push his stats for those.
How rare is that?
That's pretty rare. If he does what he did last year again, 2,500 yards or 2,000 rushing yards,
$2 grand again for sure.
He's in Canton. Yeah, he's in Canton. Yeah,
because no one would have done that.
I agree.
Okay, but no one's gotten close.
Well, here, let me ask you this. All right, let me look something up real quick because I do think it's an interesting topic here with AJ Brown. But like, who is a more Hall of Fame worthy resume right now? Jamar Chase or AJ Brown? That's probably not a good comp because Jamar Chase came into the league way after AJ Brown, but he's got 55. Jamar Chase has 5,500 receiving yards in 4 seasons. He's got 46 touchdowns and 395 receptions. Now let me look at AJ Brown because AJ Brown.
Tyreek Hill. Look at Tyreek Hill's numbers because he's got a ring and he's got numbers.
So AJ's played 2 extra seasons. He's got 446 and 7,000 yards. That's not awful. I mean, Jamar's on a faster pace, but
take a look at Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill's going to Canton.
You think so?
Look at the numbers.
He's got he's got over 11,000 receiving yards. Man, he's got some crazy numbers.
And look how young he is. And in a ring. And look at the catches. He looks at him. If I'm AJ, I'm looking at Tyreek going, think Tyreek's getting in? I do. Because by the time he's done, Look what Tyreek did. He went to Miami knowing that Tua would throw him the ball more. And he knew that. And they're throwing him the ball more. He's got his ring, dude. He's got his ring.
I don't know, though. I will say this. AJ's numbers are still pretty good. Remember, he had almost 1,500 yards 2 straight seasons here. He had 1,496 and 1,456.
You think that's going to continue?
Last year, he missed 3 games and had 1,079.
Okay, so you think he's going to stay healthier in a run-dominant offense, and they're going to have lesser targets with a fullback?
Wow.
How about this? Let me ask you this. If you're A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and you see they're going to implement a fullback in your offense, how you feeling about that? You think they're going to throw the ball more to me or less to me?
Depends. If they open up the play action a little bit more, then yes. But if they don't, no. Remember, they got the offensive lines coming back. Saquon's coming back.
Why would I throw it? I won last year not throwing it. What do you think is a better chance?
I don't know if I would care.
What do you think the better chance of controlling the clock is? Throwing it more or running it more?
Running the ball.
Right. Well, if I'm a receiver looking to go to Canton, I don't know how that looks at me and go, well, where am I in this?
Yeah. Well, here's what I think. I think people are going to misconstrue what you're saying here because
they are.
Well, they're going to say it's a who cares, and I'm with them because we're Eagles fans. But at the end of the day, I do think Sil's bringing up a good topic where what does AJ care about? And he probably does care about these things. All right. We may not care because our team wins.
You asked John McMullen a question. What do you think he cares about? Numbers, targets, or winning? And the reason you asked it was because you weren't sure of it. And if you ask a question like that, that means it's something on your mind even too, that you're not completely sure. Hey, do you want both? He's got both now. He's got the ring.
Right.
Bro, it's no longer about going out and blocking any longer. You think that guy wants to go out there blocking for Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley again, miss a couple games at 28 years old? Hey, bro, you keep doing that, by the time you're 28, 29, 30, you'll be DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, so what are you saying AJ's going to want? You think he's just going to make a stink next year or what? Like, what do you think the bigger ramification of it is? Because I don't think you're wrong. I think AJ Brown, listen, if he has another 1,500-yard season, which he had 2 of, all right, there's only been 1 season here where he's gotten low numbers, and
the Super Bowl winning year.
So, yeah, the Super Bowl winning year. If he returns to what he did, 1,500,
they won't win it.
Yeah, but he won't have a problem.
No, he won't.
No.
You're right. If he has 1,600 yards this year and they don't win, things will be great.
Yeah, I agree. Now, remember, listen, you're climbing an uphill battle and re-winning the Super Bowl. So it's tough for you to set a parameter like, oh, so now you did this to make AJ happy, but you didn't win. I mean, let's be real. All Eagle fans should reckon we have 2 Super Bowls in 60 years, guys. I mean, it's unlikely for us to go and repeat. We all feel like we have a good team to have a chance to do it, but it's already an unlikely task. It's already an uphill battle of a task. So it's probably going to happen anyway. Now, where you bring up the interesting point is if they play offense like they did last year, which they're most likely going to do.
Yes.
And they ultimately are not able.
And by the way, should.
And they're not able to win the Super Bowl. What does that mean for the receivers on the football team?
By the way, you're right, Xander. The conversation here is not about me and what I think is right. My conversation is, what do you think AJ thinks when last year this guy's reading To Kill a Mockingbird on the sidelines,
right,
and he's not engaged in the game because this guy here has got to read self-help books by Napoleon Hill, and he's on the sideline trying to get himself motivated because he's not interested in the game plan because they don't have him involved in the game plan. That's the guy that's looking to go to Canton. Reading a book on the sidelines and reading PMA by W. Clement Stone. I mean, I don't know about you, bro.
All right, so from an Eagles perspective, what you're saying to me, and maybe you're not, but this is what I'm inferring, Eagles better learn how to win without A.J. Brown. Because right now, even without using him, they can't win when he's not on the field.
No.
How bad did they look in the games he missed last year?
But how long is that going to work if you're the 5th worst passing team in the league and you're a guy that's not going to – hey, dude. They
but look, this is
they didn't only not take the ball out of Jaylen Hertz's hands. They took the ball out of A.J. Brown's hands.
Yeah, but again, we care about the Eagles. Again, A.J. Brown, great player. A.J. Brown's wants are not as important to me as the Eagles. So if you look at it like this, Kimbo says, look at the Chiefs. All right, what did the Chiefs do? They got rid of the receiver who wanted his yards.
And won.
Said goodbye and won. That's why I said, do the Eagles have to learn how to win without A.J. Brown in order to safeguard yourself or prepare yourself for the inevitable life after A.J.
Jaylen Herz have to prepare without A.J.
Well, remember, last year was Jaylen Hertz's first year reading progressions, his first year doing everything at the line of scrimmage, and I think he got better at it week in and week out, and his best game in it was the Super Bowl. So if you take that, I think he should improve. Now, it does rely on him improving in that area of his game, but I think he will be.
The conversation is morphing into Hertz. I'm not talking about him.
That's because Hertz is the catalyst, Sills.
Hold on. I'm talking about one player, A.J. Brown, and how he sees this season coming up. All of that is right, Xander. That is a conversation that we've climbed up a billion times. Right. Progression reading, setting protections, all of that got better in the end. That's not a debate. The debate is, how does AJ see his role on this Eagle team right now going into this year? Does he see his role? When you come and I start hearing the owner go, hey, John Ritchie, get this, the fullback's coming in. Fullback's coming in? Bro, that doesn't spell well for the Y and Z and how they're going to approach. Here, I've said this last year and I'll say it this year. And by the way, one more time, I'm going to say it again. Bro, the Super Bowl's old news. Got 7 new starters and a coordinator. It's a whole different football team than what you had 84 days ago. That's not even part of it any longer. Again, it's a different unit that you're going to go into camp with. Of the 90 guys, Xander, how many guys do you think are new that'll go into that 90-man camp this year?
New? Oh, got to be a lot. At least 40.
Okay.
At least 40, right? I mean, you lost 6 starters. That's 22. Now you got 10 new draft picks. You had 10 or 9 undrafted free agent signings. They invited another 10 in. You're probably looking at 30 to 40 new bodies in there, new players in there.
That's a great topic. Okay, the current
Well, I think that's the turnover you see probably across the NFL.
Let's see. Barkley's back. Let's got new. Let's see a new here. Harrison Bryant's new. Let me write it down. Harrison Bryant's new. Okay. This Fields kid's new. This is on your 90-man. This Klein kid's new, right? Is he? This Darius Cooper kid's new.
Are you going to go through all 90 right now?
Hold on. No, I'm not. I don't believe it's going to be. This Gant kid's new. This Granson kid's new. This guy's new. This Hinton kid.
There's going to be a lot of new guys for sure.
Bro, I'm thinking that there's like 50 guys that are going to be new on this football team.
Possibly. When you're talking about the 90-man roster, yeah. If the 53, I'm thinking probably.
50 guys going to go in there all brand new. So again,
that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing. You got to keep rotation in there, man. You got to keep people hungry.
We're not talking about what's right here. I'm talking about one guy and seeing his – see, what happens with Eagle guys,
AJ Brown's
they start getting upset with the fact that I'm looking at one person and how he's seeing his role.
Well, what do you see his role at? You're beating around the bush.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you exactly how. I've been saying it for hours here. This guy's going to be one pissed off motherfucker if this guy doesn't get the football thrown to him and they don't win the Super Bowl. This guy's going to throw a bitch.
I happen to agree with you on that. I happen to agree with you on that. But, I mean, look, he's still going to be our top target in the passing game. What do you think? We're going to run out? 1, 2, 3, run. I mean, come on. They're going to pass the ball 20,
They
25.
did that last year. They were 30th.
He's still at 1,000 yards and he missed 3 games.
Hold on. They got the 5th worst passing team in league.
Okay, and what did he do? Poof 1,000 yards out of thin air? He had 1,000 yards.
1,000 yards.
1,100.
Hold on.
No, he only had 67 catches.
Let me. Now that is good.
That to me is worse than the yardage.
Okay, let me see something here. Let me
67 catches for AJ Brown is now he did. He got it.
That's Tennessee Titan times. When he had
Yeah,
60
he had 63, 70. He had 52, 70, and 63 in Tennessee.
Yeah, that right. Okay, let's take a look at this. So Xander says that he had 1,000 yards receiving. Okay, let's take a look at 1,000 yards receiving. So let's take a look. There's A.J. Brown. Let's see. Jacoby Myers had 1,000 receiving. Let's see here. Darnell Mooney had 1,000 yards receiving. Garrett Wilson had 1,000 yards. Ladd McConkey had 1,100 yards
Let me look at the
receiving.
leader list of 1,000-yard
Hey,
receiving.
all I'm saying
A.J. Brown was 17th in the NFL last year in receiving yards.
Let's see how many where he was in his
He was
targets.
behind Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin, Garrett Wilson, George Kittle, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Trey McBride, Ladd McConkey.
Let's see where
Brock
A.J.
Bowers, Lamb,
Brown.
Malik Neighbors, Jerry Jeudy had a good year last year. I'm on Russ.
A.J. Brown was 44th in targets.
That's bad. See, that I don't like. But that's easily explained.
That's
easily explained, though.
Okay. Hey, why? Because he got hurt blocking?
No, because we ran for 2,500 freaking yards, bro.
Okay. Again, I'm not disagreeing with it.
Again, no, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about it from AJ's perspective, but I'm
Correct.
always going to slant toward the Eagles' perspective because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what AJ Brown wants.
But he does.
All right, great. So it factors into the team. How does it affect the team is my caring. You care about what AJ thinks.
No, I don't care.
You do.
What you guys are missing here, you think that I'm trying to make some shit up when all I'm doing is I'm taking a look at what the guy's behavior's been his entire time in Philly and how he's looked at his role. Do you think he's happy the way they won the Super Bowl last year by running the ball 38 times a game? Do you think that?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
No,
That's exactly. No. Watch this. That's a great point. Xander's doing a show right now, and I'm. What do you say?
Yeah, right.
Oh, what? What's that?
That's messed up. That's messed up. Listen.
So when you
AJ
got players
Brown
out there, when you got players out there executing what's the right thing when running the football 35, 36 times, you got a guy over here thumbing through.
All right, let me ask you something.
The Book of the Month Club.
I'm not saying you're wrong about AJ Brown and what he wants. I happen to agree that if he doesn't get the targets and the ball enough this year and they don't win, he's going to be a pissed off dude because, again, he believes he's great and he should believe he's great. I think he's right for believing he's great. All right.
Yes.
Do you think Tyreek Hill regrets signing with the Miami Dolphins? He went to Miami, he got his yards, and he missed out on 2 Super Bowl rings. He already has a Super Bowl ring, okay? And he already has many of the accomplishments that AJ Brown now got in Philly. But he got the money, he got the yards, and as you pointed out, he has a Hall of Fame resume. Do you think he regrets leaving Kansas City?
No, because here, look at this. Super Bowl champion, 6-time first team All-Pro. He is second team All-Pro once. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler, NFL receiver yardage leader in 23, NFL touchdown co-leader in 23. On the 2010 All-Decade team, he was on the All-Rookie team. He's got 11,000 receiving yards, 82 touchdowns, 1,400 in punt returns, and he has got a Super Bowl ring, as I said.
Yeah.
That's a Hall of Fame resume.
It is.
8 Pro Bowls?
It is, but that's not my question. I know.
No, I do not, because he became first team All-Pro. He was never going to be first team All-Pro anymore in Kansas City. Why? Kansas City doesn't value the wideout. They win Super Bowls.
When he was there, he was.
Yeah, until he wanted money, and they moved
on. They offered him money, though.
Not near what Miami did.
They offered him $4 million less, I thought. 21, 22 million. They gave him 26, 27 in Miami.
Do you not agree that he is the main target, even with Jaylen Waddle down in Miami, that they're
100%
going to
the main target? Yeah.
Well, who was the main target all those last 6 years in Kansas City? Travis Hunter or Travis Kelce? Or was it going to be Tyreek Hill?
It was Tyreek Hill when he was there.
And then why'd they move off him and keep Kelsey.
Travis Kelsey's cheaper, but I mean, Travis probably the offense probably runs through Travis.
Because Andy ran tight ends in Philly. He didn't have big time wideouts in Philly. Who's the biggest?
No, listen, again, I didn't say that to start like a debate about it. Honestly, because I do think it's a fair wonder of like, where is AJ? Because you're probably right. Tyreek Hill doesn't care, but I'm sure there's a dude out there who would exist in the league that would regret missing out. I mean, right now, Mahomes holds up his ring as his hand. He's got 3 of them things on there. Travis Kelsey holds up his hand. He's got 3 of them things on there. And again, I know you're right. You're right in saying that they care about their personal accolades, but does AJ Brown want to leave an organization that is this good, this dominant, where he's gotten 1,500 yards in 2 of his 3 seasons, been in the Super Bowl in 2 of his 3 seasons, just to go and get 20 extra?
A Hall of Fame jacket? Yeah.
But he is on a Hall of Fame trajectory here. Now, if they continue last year, it probably won't. But again, Sills, you can't leave out his first 2 years in Philly. They were Hall of Fame level seasons that contributed to that resume.
Okay, he's 162nd right now at 28 years old. The chances of him having quite the numbers to get him in the top 20 are slim to none.
Yeah, but he needs to go on a historic pace then.
That's right. And they're not going to go on some historic pace with His Highness.
No.
That's not going to happen. And nor should they. Get this. I think what people look at, if they're saying, I'm saying, well, Chills, what do you want him to do? No.
I don't think AJ's going to want out. Now that I'm thinking about this, I think he'll be upset. I don't think he's going to want out. I think if AJ Brown leaves the Eagles, it's going to be because of the front office needed to get cheaper on the offense, and they move on from the player.
So if they don't win the Super Bowl and they finish 30th and he's 146th in targets this year, how do you think that's going to work?
Well, I mean, we're talking about 400 yards here. Like if he had 300 yards more last year, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No. I'm asking you, how do you think that's going to go if this guy is 1,000 yards? He's 44th in targets, and they don't win the Super Bowl, and they're the 5th worst passing team, and they don't win, and they don't get out of the top 4 teams.
I don't think it'd be great. I mean, I don't think he'd be very happy. But I mean, it depends.
You think he was very happy last year?
No, he had 67 catches. If he played all the games, he probably would have had 85. I think that's a little bit too low. If Jalen's only throwing the ball 20, 25 times a game, as long as A.J. Brown's getting 12 of them, I don't think he's going to give a shit.
See, look at what Big Sill's just doing here. I'm just looking at how he's trying to see it.
Maybe you're right about about running 2 tight end sets and then just don't even throw the ball to tight end. If you throw the ball 20 times, give AJ 12 and Devontae 8. That's it. We don't even throw the ball to anybody else.
Hold on. Well, I'll tell you this.
I don't know. I think AJ Brown wouldn't want to look back and have his finger, have his hand missing some rings.
That's why. Okay, he's checked that box now. Now it's time for my boxes to get checked by having
Tyreek check the box too.
Okay, let me. Well, I
got one more question for you.
I think 8 first-team All-Pros.
I got one more question for you on this.
All right.
Tyreek Hill's been in Miami for how many years now?
Shit, I don't know. He's been almost non-existent.
3 years now?
I think it's something like that.
All right, 3 years now. What's a better resume? All right, 3 years in Miami. All right. He's had 119 receptions, 119, and last year at 81. I don't know why he dropped. Well, I guess 2. They didn't have 2. They missed 2 last year, so he went under 1,000 last year. All right. He has 11,000 career receiving yards, 82 touchdowns. And let's just go with that for now. If he had 10,000 receiving yards instead of 11,000, 70 touchdowns instead of 82, and 3 Super Bowl rings instead of 1, whose resume are you taking?
Super Bowl rings don't matter.
I didn't ask that. I asked the collective resume of the player that will apply to Canton.
I'm taking Tyreek Hill's resume because he's up over 10.
You're taking 11,001 ring over 10,003 rings?
No, 10,003 rings. There's no player outside of Jerry Rice with that. And NFL history.
All right. So AJ's at
Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin,
at
Jerry Rice,
500 yards.
They're the only players in NFL history with 3 rings – and over 10,000 receiving yards. There's only 2 of them.
All
Okay.
right, so A.J. Brown has 7,000 career receiving yards. He can play in Philly another 4 years, easily eclipse 10,000. And if, let's just say, they win another ring, and he's got 2 rings on his resume,
3 Pro
and he
Bowls.
already has 50 touchdowns.
And
So
3
give him
Pro Bowls.
7.
3 Pro Bowls is not cutting it.
That's a Hall of Fame resume for A.J. Brown.
3 Pro Bowls is not cutting it.
Because here's the problem. If he wants to get in on stats alone, as you mentioned, he needs a historic pace. The one way to boost that is to get an extra rings because of how good of a player he
Well,
is.
how are they going to go on an historic pace by putting a fullback in and having Saquon Barkley with $20 million and then wanting to run the ball more? How's that some historic pace when the quarterback throws the ball 19 times a game? How is that an historic pace that he's going to be on when he's 44th in targets?
How many yards is Jaylen Herz going to throw for this year, in your opinion?
Somewhere between 33 and 3,500 yards.
All right, so who's getting them?
I'm assuming the 2 receivers are going to get them. Okay.
A.J. Brown.
Again, is that going to be enough for him? Because last year he went for 2,900 and he got 1,000 yards. They won 14 ball games. Like I said, there's 2 different conversations here. What's right and what's AJ's right? That's
I think it would be in the Eagles' best interest overall this year to, I'm not saying change what they did because it was so successful, but I think you got to find a little bit more balance in order to take care of players who are also on your team. I know you have a team goal and that should be the first thing, but you can still have a potent run game that wins you games while also incorporating and understanding you got 2 highly paid receivers that want the football. And that, by the way, when they get the football, it means good things for our football team. I think if they balance that a little bit better this year, I think that all these problems will be nada. Will be gonzo, and Big Sills will be back to the drawing board.
Well, let's do this. Every year that Tyreek Hill has been in Miami, he's been a All-Pro. That's not was the case in Kansas City.
See, wait, I'm going to correct one comment because I knew this was going to come. Killa, you're not wrong about this, but I'm pushing back on you. He says they acting like rings don't matter, but garbage stats do. You're going the wrong direction. Killa, obviously we are, because we're not talking about what the desire for the team is. We're talking about an individual player who's a receiver. Now, you might think he cares more about rings than yards.
No way.
But Sileo and history would suggest that they care more about yards. It's not us saying this. We're just talking about what AJ's perspective would be. Obviously, rings are more important than garbage stats.
Then, to his point, then Philadelphia, why isn't Edelman in the Hall of Fame or being considered for it?
Well, yeah, Edelman's not a Hall of Fame player.
Wait a minute. He's got 3 rings and a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, but
and he's got just as many receiving yards right now as AJ Brown does.
But that's not a perfect comp, Sills.
Well,
that's not a good comp.
If wins matter.
No. I'm going to tell you why that's not a good comp.
Okay.
Edelman had 6,822 total yards in his career. He played in 11 football seasons. All right. AJ Brown's played 7 football seasons, and he already has more yards than him. So
I thought rings matter, though.
They do matter. But the player is not as good as AJ Brown.
Hold on.
So rings for Edelman.
Nobody has.
No. Let me finish. Rings for Edelman.
Yards in pro football history in the postseason than Julian Edelman.
Rings for Edelman are not going to matter as much as rings for AJ Brown. He has more receiving yards than Edelman in 4 last seasons.
He's 162nd in receiving yards right now.
Okay, but Edelman's 380.
Okay,
they're a different caliber of player.
Okay, again. You're putting more stock in the rings.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm putting stock in the talent of the player, the eye test of the player.
Okay. Well, then how about this one? When you look at the top receivers in the game and the top 10 receivers, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Larry Fitzgerald, none of them have rings. I mean, they've got the numbers.
No, I hear what you're saying.
And they're based on catches and numbers that got them into Canton.
Right, but all right, let's say there's 2 categories. All right, your stats and then your success on the team. I agree with you. Stats matter a lot more when you're talking about getting to the Hall of Fame. But if you're going to come down a little bit in stats, what's one way to booster it back up? It's this side. If AJ is as good as he is, with slightly less statistics than Larry or any of these other guys, with 3 rings, that's a better resume overall than any of it.
I don't believe that offense is morphing towards throwing the ball and having more targets thrown at him.
No,
I think they're going the other way.
I agree.
Because of the way they're talking and the coordinator hire.
Yeah, but they can't throw the ball to less than 2,900 yards this year.
Why not? They blew everyone out last year.
Well, I think you're right in that you just projected 33 to 35. That's the natural. I mean, they're not going to throw for under 3,000 yards. That's rare in the NFL. Did anybody throw? Did any team have less passing yards? I've never seen
that actually.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a one-off. Like, there's a lot better chance that Hertz doesn't do anything differently, and he still throws for 3,300 this year because he's just going to come back to the middle. He's not going to throw for 2,400 yards. I mean, how much lower are we going, Sills?
No.
AJ Brown's going to get 1,000 yards next year, minimum. I think the bigger question here is the money with Howie and what Howie thinks of this. Here's a question. Here's a topic.
And the shit he's going to stir if they don't win against 44th. He's 44th in targets.
Yeah, drop that for just 1 second, though. Take what we just talked about, this whole scenario, which, again, we've talked about how there's an Eagles perspective and there's an AJ Brown perspective.
Right.
Now factor the Howie Roseman perspective, who's like, we're winning a lot. Clearly we did something right. We're doing something right. What do I do about the $32 million wide receiver that gets 67 catches a year?
Okay. Howie's going to look at it like this, because he's doing the one thing that's important for his quarterback. How does not having A.J. Brown not on the roster affect my $50 million investment? Now, remember, when Amari Cooper got knocked off that Cowboy team, you think the Cowboy passing attack has been the same, even with CD in the building?
No.
Correct?
No.
Okay. So when you start taking components like that away from people, now, like I said, exiting Goddard away, putting a fullback in. Okay, well, that's not helpful to protecting, because I don't have to defend the tight end position. Can you imagine that if I'm a coordinator? That means I don't have to worry about the middle of the field.
Right.
You're helping me as a coordinator. If Dallas Goedert's not on that field, or how about this, Xander? If Goddard's on that field, I have to account for that player. When you have Harrison Bryant on that field, sorry, dude.
No, you're right.
I don't have to account for that position anymore. That's 2 positions on your team on offense that I don't have to account for. Wide receiver 3 in the slot and your tight end, which means you become more predictable. Why are you going towards being more predictable? Why? Because you're going to run it more. You're going to go 2 tight end and fullback and run it and throw it less. AJ sees that. Get this. Formation-wise, Xander, before there's a play called, the second week of September, AJ sees the writing on the wall right now and how this offense is going to be approached this year, especially when you hear the owner saying the fullback's coming back. They're moving off of Goddard. They're bringing all these blocking tight ends in. They didn't draft anybody. If you're A.J. Brown, you think there's more targets coming his way or less? And on top of that, then it becomes more predictable again because you're taking away 2 components, the slot and the tight end.
Yeah, but
you're more predictable.
You still got to get that ball to A.J. Brown, man. You can't build – what dumbass is calling
I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying it's easier. That's easier to defend.
Oh, it's definitely easier to defend. But the great equalizer here has to be the running game. If you start taking away pieces of your passing game and you think it's going to be effective, you better hope you're running for 2,500 yards again. If you don't, and by the way, there's people, let me just correct one thing too about this conversation is, this is going to more like Chris Scott. I love you, Chris. AJ's here for the next 3 years for sure. Chris, I don't know about that. This guy says, dead cap hit is huge. AJ Brown is here to stay. Well, let me show you guys something. All right. If you at this time next year, you know how we're talking about Dallas Goedert right now, where you get major savings if you wait till after June 1st. Well, if you designate AJ Brown as a June 1 trade and you trade him after the season next year, your dead cap hit's only $20 million. Now, if you do it before then, your dead cap hits $70 million. So they're not going to do that. But $20 million is not going to scare the Philadelphia Eagles off.
Not when you can use 2 years to spread it out.
And you save $7 million in cap space. So it is more realistic than you think next season. They're not going to move on from him now or anything like that.
No.
If they go through a season to Sills' point and AJ's bitching and they don't win the Super Bowl and they could move on from him next summer. I don't think they will, though.
How about this, though? What if they duplicate what they did a year ago? Let's go on the positive. They win the Super Bowl the same way. And Hertz has 29.04. They duplicate everything. And he's 44th in targets. How's Howie see that value out there at wideout?
Yeah, you're probably questioning whether you're paying too much money there, especially when you got contracts for Carter, Quinion, Cooper, Nolan, all these guys coming up. I mean, listen, we all love Devontae and AJ. It's not about that, but they are eating up a very significant portion of the cap. So if you're not going to utilize those players and your team is winning in other ways and your defense is number one, Howie's going to look and say, well, I got to pay that number one overall defense, So I do wonder about, we just brought up Howie's perspective. I do think that's a factor. Like, you can't pay $60 million. And again, I think the players are worth every penny. But if your team doesn't utilize those players, you're probably going to invest those resources in other areas.
Once again, this is not about I'm not talking what's right. I'm more talking about how the player sees himself, his resume, when everything is said and done, and he puts a period at the end of his resume. Is this going to be good enough to be a guy to be considered for the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Right now, it's not, because he's far down the list. When you look at Tyreek Hill right now, if he plays 3 more years at the level he's playing, he's going. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He's a 7-time first-team All-Pro.
Well,
he's got a Super Bowl ring.
He had 800 yards last year. He better not continue on that trajectory. Just like you're using 1 year on A.J. Brown, same thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, 1 year's not going to frighten me off that resume. I'll tell you that.
Okay, well, 1 year's not frightening me off A.J. Brown. He had 2 back-to-back.
That's right. That's why when I say that to Barkley, people getting their panties in a bind because he went for $2,000. That's not telling me he's a Hall of Fame resume either.
Let me tell you how I see this playing
Absolutely
out.
Not.
This is how I see this playing out. Let me go to this comment here. Shahid checks in. Teams are going to stack the box to stop the run, and then Hertz will throw the ball all over the yard. This is my projection for how this is going to play out. I think naturally teams are going to come in and try and take away Barkley more so than they did last year. Okay, he's going to have, instead of 2,000, he'll have 1,500 or 1,600 or 1,700, somewhere in that range. That's going to mean Jaylen's going to throw the ball more. I think A.J. Brown's going to probably go back to 1,300 yards receiving. And I don't know if that's going to be good enough to win the Super Bowl or go back. But if that happens, I don't think these problems are going to be a big thing. Now, that's where I think the money's going to come in and be an even bigger factor.
Before we get John Morgan on, don't forget, hey, Xander, by the way,
I got to run too.
Hey, Xander, by the way, top of the 4 o'clock hour, do me a favor. Can you text Boomer because he's going to be in traffic?
It is the top of the 4 o'clock. You mean top of the 5 o'clock hour?
When you get done reading these supers, can you text him, please?
Yeah, I just texted him a little bit ago. I'll text him again.
Good.
All right, here we go. Let's get some supers. Appreciate all you guys, by the way, for being here, for checking in, comments, likes, shares. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys.
AJ has played 6 years. See, I said 7. My bad, Lucius. It's 6. If it's 6, that's crazy. 4 more years, 1K. 4 more 1K years is doable. Very doable. Very doable.
Not with that offense.
What do you mean? He had 1,000 last year and he missed.
You're not going to hold up, dude, playing bully ball like Bob said. If you think you're going to get,
so you're saying he won't be able to. He's going to get hurt playing like this. Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right, I didn't realize that was your take. I agree. Well, possibly depends. He is built, dude.
He is the brick shit out.
Very durable too. We've never had an issue in Philly. So
absolutely.
Kimbo says, problem is Hertz not great at throwing to
tight ends.
To tight ends. Yeah, you can't see. I don't think you can see over the offensive line. I think that's a bigger problem than people believe.
I think the middle of the field is a vision issue.
How are you going to see over 6'8" Mekhi Becton and 6'7" Landon Dickerson? I mean, can you even blame the guy if you don't have freaking 6'6" Justin Herbert? How do you do it? Pumper says, "What would you rather have AJ Brown play wide receiver for your team or play Twister with Sidney Sweeney?" I choose the latter. I peep the Gala. Woof, woof.
Oh, my God. Seeing those games. My God. The king. The king.
Playing Twister with Sydney Sweeney's enough for you, Pumper? That ain't enough for me, dog. Al Kokorski says, Sills, who had a bigger impact on an organization, Franco Harris or Emmitt Smith? Good question.
Emmitt did. Emmitt was the catalyst in that Cowboy dynasty. The Steeler dynasty was the O-line and that defense and the perimeter guys. Not saying Franco wasn't important. He's a Hall of Fame player. Franco was important, but that football team was built through the draft and all those great players that they drafted. The different NFL, man. You could keep stockpile players back then. You can't do that now.
Yep. Here we go. Here's Rashid. Xander, 22, 1,500 yards. 23, 1,500 yards. 24, 1,113 games. Was out 4 games. Played them, and he has 1,400-plus yards. Hertz, 2 wide receivers. Don't miss 4 games. It's not a combo.
Yeah, that's right. That's why he was reading books on the sideline and joining the
but that doesn't dismiss what Rashid said.
Bro, if you think that guy was happy the way they won the Super Bowl a year ago.
That's not what Rashid said, Sills.
Yeah, well, guess what? You're not thinking like AJ right now. He's thinking one thing, Hall of Fame, and I want massive targets sent to me. And I get it. Dude, you're not going to get healthier getting older running the ball more. You're just not. It makes no common sense.
So you're saying he's going to miss
40 times.
You're saying he's going to miss 4 games again?
Oh, he's saying he's going to miss 40.
No. He's saying if he played those 4 games, even with the way they played last year, we probably wouldn't be having this convo. He's
Rashid,
right.
If he plays the way he played last year and they play, he'll miss 6 games this year.
Rashid, good super. I appreciate it. Kimbo said, expecting a huge loss to help Barkley get open. Did you get that one? You probably got that one. Yeah, I got that one. Yeah. All right, we got them all. All right, we got them all. Thanks, everybody. Good super chats. Rashid, I happen to agree with you. Thank you, Rashid.
You think he misses no games playing that same style this year?
I didn't say that. I'm saying
okay. What did you say?
The way they played last year, even if they didn't change a thing, and the only thing that changed was that A.J. Brown didn't get hurt in the beginning of the season, he would have still gotten his numbers. In the offense that Saquon Barkley ran 2,500 yards in. Okay.
I'll ask you this on the way out the door here. If they don't win the Super Bowl and he duplicates, or no, they don't win the Super Bowl, and he's instead of 44th, he's 30th with those 3 games and targets. And they don't win. And he gets 1,200 yards. And they're still 30th in passing. How do you think he's going to feel about that season last year or this coming year if they don't win?
What was your number if he gets what?
Okay. Say he's 30th instead of 44th.
Yeah.
In targets, playing those games. Okay? And he has 1,300 yards, and they don't win. And their passing offense is still down there instead of bottom 5, bottom 10. How do you think he's going to feel about that coming back? And how do you think the Eagles are going to feel about that?
I think AJ would be all right with it. The Eagles probably wouldn't be too happy with it. I got to correct one thing, though, on this. All right? I'm sorry. Let's be truthful about this conversation. R. Anthony says he's getting hurt playing like that. Well, he didn't really last year. If he got hurt in week 14, you can make an argument that this style of offense is what hurt him. He got hurt in the beginning of the season. Injury. In the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it was groin.
So it wasn't like we didn't.
It was Devontae that got hurt.
Like this. Right? He didn't get hurt like this. You got to correct that. All right, so good stuff, man. I appreciate it.
It was Devontae, right, that got hurt.
Devontae got hurt early in the year too, though.
Was it groin too?
Yeah, I think he was groin or hamstring or one of them. All right, Sills, appreciate it, man.
You got it, my friend. Don't forget, Boomer Esiason's going to join us at 5:30 Eastern time. I'll tell you what is turning out to be one of my favorite segments is with John Morgan. And I'll tell you this, there is so many things going on in sports now. President wants to come out with an executive order to deal with nil. Hey, Belichick has never been more interesting right now than he's ever been. I mean, hey, we're on to Cincinnati. Bill, what about the quarterback between Garoppolo and Brady? We're on the Cincinnati. This guy was never this interesting. I mean, he's never been this interesting. And I don't know about you guys. So we're going to get to all this here. So I'm watching that Kyle Busch commercial. Guy pulls up to a stop sign, and there he is with the Morgan & Morgan van. He's got, let's bring on John Morgan, man. I'll tell you what, Kyle Busch has got some personality, John. That's a good find there, man. I'm watching that commercial, and there he is in that van, the Morgan & Morgan van. Great spot, man. I appreciate you coming aboard, John. Great. Did you know he had that kind of personality?
He is a great guy. The family's great. We got other ones too. That's just the first one. And he's been a great partner, great person, great human being, and a good sense of humor.
John, I think it's a great commercial too. And hey, what about my take on Belichick? You know, Bill's never been this interesting, John. I mean, he's got a 24-year-old. I don't know what's going on there with him, but, you know, I mean, here's a guy here now, and there's a lot of people, Charles Barkley, who I texted the other day, and I asked Charles, he goes, I don't know. What do you make of it? And I go, I don't know. He goes, would you send your kid to go play there? I said, John had an issue with it. And now I'm hearing people in Carolina, even Michael Jordan, are a little concerned about it. John, do you think UNC should really second guess whether or not he's the head coach moving forward with the way that he's running that football program and that sports program? Because it's a $10 million a year. And all of a sudden now we're hearing that she's to be forwarded on all emails and correspondence with the president and the athletic director at UNC.
Well, let's start with this. He's only a few years older than me. Okay. So I always think, my mind sometimes goes to the gutter, and it goes like this. I'm 69 years old. I hate getting undressed in front of my wife. Okay. I'm like, turn the light off. Let me get up there. But I can't imagine, because Belichick's fatter than me. I can't imagine stripping down nude in front of this. I mean, she is hot, but I cannot imagine just that. So I always think about that. And he comes out of the bathroom and he's nude and she's there. I love you. I'm like, no. So excuse me for that. But then I look at him and I go, is he slipping? Is this a guy, what they have called sundowners, where it's between sanity and insanity, lucid and dementia? I don't know, because when we all get to this age, we start slipping. I'm forgetting some numbers sometimes, or it's like, what's that guy's number? So I look at that, and then a question I have for all your viewers: who do you like the most, Jordan with Belichick or Meghan Markle with Prince Harry? If you had to choose the one you like the best, who do you choose, Dan?
I'm probably going to go Meghan Markle, maybe. I don't know, man. I think I'm going her. I know she's more.
I want to just throw that out to your viewers. Who do you choose that you like the most, Meghan Markle or Jordan Belichick? I don't even know what her last name is.
Yeah. Hey, John, now I know why my wife asked me the other day when I got out of the shower. She says, why are you covering up? I said, I really don't know. Now I know why.
Yeah, we shower in the dark now.
John, the president met with Nick Saban the other day, and he was at a rally with him. And then after the fact, they said that, there was a conversation about where Nil's going. And I know that you've had great opinions on this here. And there's talk now that the president is formulating a way that he can make an executive order to try to pull this stuff in. Do you think that that would be something that would help the college sports game? Do you think that that's something that the White House and government should get involved with? Or do you think that this thing still has to play itself out?
Well, it is playing itself out. And look, people, like I said before, now we don't even know the players. It's like watching Nintendo. Who's under the helmet? We don't know. In the NFL, you can't just leave your team just because you want to. If you sign a contract, you got to stay. At a bare minimum, there ought to be a deal where it goes like this. And by the way, I have no sympathy for the NCAA. These people were arrogant. They made billions of dollars off these poor kids' backs. They deserve what's happened. But at some point, there should be a deal where, okay, we signed an NIL contract, and now we are bound by that contract. In the NFL, when they sign a contract, they are bound by that contract. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But this whole portal of moving, I don't know if it's ever going to – it may be that America is so in love with college football that they'll pretend that these are student athletes, which has always been the biggest joke in college sports, that they are student athletes.
Yes.
You know, I remember at the University of Florida, I ran into Tony Green, who was a great running back at Florida in this 1974. And I'm terrible in math. I mean, I'm terrible in math. I got real good in math when I started putting dollar signs next to the numbers. But up until that point, I was really bad in math. But anyway, Tony Green tells me, he goes, you ought to take this math course that we're taking. I said, what's the math course you're taking? He goes, I said, what number is it on the syllabus? He goes, it's not on this. It's not on the syllabus. So I get the number. I come to the first day of math class at the University of Florida, had to have 5 hours. And it was crazy. It was like multiplying fractions, negative numbers plus positive numbers. And we could take the test as many times as we wanted. And so I like, what other classes are you taking, Tony Green? It was Tony Green, and remember Wes Chandler?
Oh my God, yes.
You know, it was those guys. But we're all looking around like, this is the class I need to be in at the University of Florida. You know, math for jocks.
Absolutely. Wes Chandler's distinction is, folks, he killed the War Eagle at Auburn when he was there at Florida. And he coached me, by the way, with Galen Hall when we were at the Orlando Thunder with the NFL's World League. And I love Wes Chandler. By the way, John.
And by the way, Galen Hall is a great offensive mind.
Oh, I love – you know, it's funny. When I ended up playing for him, it was one of the greatest things I ever had happen. One of the best coaches I ever had with me was Galen. And he drafted me, took me, put me on that team. And it was really, we made a lot of money. We ended up finishing second in that league that year. We had like 42,000 people show up at the at the Citrus Bowl. And it was really great playing for him and Charlie Bailey. And I'll always tell Charlie Bailey this. I go, you know that 84 team that beat the hell out of us? And I go, I got to tell you a story. You'll love this, John. So Wilbur Marshall's on that team.
Number 55.
Hey, man, I got to tell you this. So there's Lonzo Highsmith. He lifts him off the ground, John, and he just drops him on his head, stands over him at Florida Field, just like this. And I'm sitting there, and I'm watching Lonzo walk off, and I go, what'd he say to you? He goes, he told me he was going to kill me. I said, what'd you say to him? He goes, I told him I believed him. What a great – that 84 team, John, in my opinion, with Coach Pell, that's one of the greatest college football teams I've ever seen in my life, was that 84 team.
Wait till you hear this story. I'm at the University of Florida. I'm studying at Camelot Apartments. I learned later that Tebow actually lived in the unit that I lived in. There's a terrible crash outside. I rush outside. It's a one-car accident. This guy is bleeding it's pumping out of the jugular. His throat is severed. We're panicking. It's a one-car accident. We put a compress. We're trying to hold him down. The last words that this man said before he died, right in front of us, was this, with blood gurgling. God damn Charlie Pell. And then he died.
Oh my God.
The last words, I'm sitting at my desk and I can see out the window. There's a crash. And we rush out. And I kept thinking, what was can you imagine your last words on this earth? GD Charlie Pell.
Hey, John, those teams, if I'm not mistaken, because during that time, Gators, Canes, and Knowles, man, I mean, that thing was just off the charts, unbelievable. I think Galen Hall was like 26-1-2
Right.
or something like that. It was
offensive genius.
absolutely. John, let me go here now with you. Sports betting today, in your opinion, how big is this going to be? And in your opinion, how much of an influence is this going to be? Because if you're looking at right now the television networks, there is no doubt you're seeing new revenue streams now that these betting firms now, offshore, what have you, DraftKings, all this stuff now. How big do you think of an impact it's going to be on sports betting?
Astronomical. Because look, everybody wants to compete. Everybody wants to win. There's one way to win, just vicariously winning, but there's another way to win, payola. And, look, we've all been to Vegas. We've all been in the sports book. Watch people watch a game in the sports book. Go to the Wynn, watch people in the sports book. I mean, they are involved. And now, because of the way betting goes, you can keep making bets all the way to the end. Even if the game is out of control, you got the over and under. You still got these specialty bets. And look, America and the world is addicted to gambling because everybody's looking for more money. And, what I don't understand is if I were the states, instead of having lotteries, I would have sports gambling in the state. Why give it to Fan Kings and FanDuel and all this? Let the state run a sports book. You talk about revenue. You talk about revenue for the government, gigantic. Now, gambling and lotteries, those are regressive taxes. The people who gamble are the people who should not be gambling.
Right.
They're trying to dig out of a hole.
But John, in the state of Florida, which is a great example here, and because I think college sports, when you're talking gambling, I mean, I always kind of thought that was a little bit odd that you can't bet on UNLV basketball. I think it is for home games, but you can bet on them when they're outside of Vegas and like they're playing someplace. But in the state of Florida, and we know that the tribes in Central Florida and in South Florida really are a powerful entity in the state of Florida, and they pretty much have kept gambling out. Do you think, again, gambling should be in college sports? Because as you said, hey, John, maybe a program like an FAU or an FIU or a UCF could benefit from having more revenue because as you and I talk, this NIL thing, there's 134 college programs right now. I say in 10 years, John, there's probably going to be 70 because those football programs are not going to be able to support. Could gambling help that?
I was at the Derby Saturday, and Mark Pope was there in one of the rooms I went into. Kentucky basketball for this coming year, $21 million.
Wow.
$21 million. But the horses are out of the barn now. It's like there's no putting this genie back in the bottle. But Trump is onto something. I mean, look, you got to control. I go back to what I said in the beginning. There should be a deal. You sign your NIL, and now you're bound by that contract. Think of the lack of control that coaches have. There's a coach trying to tell you what to do. You're making more than the coach, and you tell the coach, hey, jackass, one more word out of you, and I'm transferring. So shut the F up. You lose. I mean, you know that there's that. You know how the kid is thinking.
Yeah, totally.
You're gonna make me run suicides. Watch this. I'm leaving. I'm transferring to Alabama. I'm transferring to wherever. You're not gonna treat me like this. They've lost all their authority, especially with the best players. Unless it's one of the Mannings, they'll always run the suicides.
Hey, John, tell me what separates the Kentucky Derby from other sporting events. I watch it all the time, and I watch the stakes races, and to me, again, in the mud like that, I thought there was more drama there. I don't know, but what's the attraction? I know that you've owned horses and you own horses and you run these horses as well. You've got percentages in a lot of them. You own them yourself. But what separates thoroughbred racing and what makes those events so big?
Well, first of all, where I keep my horses is where American Pharoah and Justify lives. American Pharoah and Ultima D, we have a baby every year and we share the horse. When you go to meet Justified American Pharoah, which I did on Saturday, when you go there to the barn, it's almost like they're bringing out Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio. You're there with greatness. These horses are some of the great athletes.
Oh, absolutely. So you have them at Badford's stables?
No, I have them at a place called Coolmore.
Okay.
Coolmore is an Irish farm in Ireland, and they got a farm in Versailles, Kentucky. I was in Versailles on Saturday. So my horses are there. Baffert Journalism was a horse that Coolmore bought into before the Derby. But the reason we love it is, first of all, women love nothing more than to get dressed up for the Kentucky Derby. I mean, there's Derby parties. People got hats. It's like they got pineapples on their head. They don't. I mean, these hats you can wear nowhere else except to a Derby party, and everybody loves. It's the event. It's the event. It's the dress. But those 2 minutes when those horses come out of the gate, those 2 minutes are the most exhilarating 2 minutes in sports. The Kentucky Derby this Saturday was the second. It was most watched in 1989.
Yep.
And it was, muddy. And I was a guest of Governor Bashir. I sat with him for the Derby. But those 2 minutes, and man, when they're coming down the stretch, neck and neck, and you got money riding on it, or you own one of them, Dan, there's nothing like that rush.
Then tell me this, John. I've had Ron Turcotte on, and, it's 52 years since Secretariat set the stakes records, and all three of them. I mean, Belmont never will be broken in what he did.
He won by 31 links.
The time itself.
Let me tell you one more thing.
Why hasn't the technology caught up with somebody today being able to break that horse's records?
Well, there are certain records that you think can never be broken. I never thought that Gretzky's would be broken, but then it was.
Absolutely right, Ovechkin.
I don't follow hockey because I don't understand the rules. I'm like, I just want to see the fights. But I didn't when they said he broke the great one. Who is he? I didn't know who he was. Don't ever get me on about hockey because I don't know, or soccer. I don't know what I'm talking about. But just a fun fact: every horse in the Derby this year came from Secretariat's bloodline. Every one. That's how great that horse is. And look, there's something to genetics. Seth Curry, Del Curry, Kobe Bryant. Now, I mean, there is you can Archie Manning, Peyton Manning. I mean, there is something to Dion. I mean, there is a staggering number of professional athletes who've had kids that are at least D1 stars and a lot of time pro players. Bloodline and genetics means a lot in sports, and it means the same in horse racing.
Man, I look at those numbers and I'm like, you're just never going to see. And I had a chance years and years ago to go to Claiborne and see that. And you're just like, like you said, John, when those horses walk out and you see somebody walking out like that and you see that, you're just like, holy cow, there's Babe Ruth walking out. That.
We're friends on Facebook. Go to my Facebook, look through my pictures, and you'll see me with Justify and American Pharoah. Interesting enough, Pharoah is a lot smaller than Justify. Justify towers over, and when you have them out there together, Dan, when those two fellas are out there together, it gives you cold chills because you're like, winning the Triple Crown is so hard because it's a short race and a shorter race and then a long race.
Yeah.
And then the 5 weeks between it all, it's almost impossible. So when those two horses come out at Coolmore and they're standing there and you're there in the morning, you're like, really, it's like Joe DiMaggio and Babe Ruth standing there in front of you alive. You're like, there they are. And once upon a time, I got to meet Secretariat, Big Red, and it's the same feeling. It's like, it's just greatness. By the way, these horses have the job you want. In the morning, they bring a teaser horse in, and then American Pharaoh gets up. Every time he hits, $250,000. Next teaser, $250 a shot. Next teaser horse, $250. Then he has lunch and a massage, and then he has one more round. He has 3 a day, $250,000 to $300,000 a day.
Wait a minute. I think I want to be the fluffer. I'm all good. I
don't think you want to be the fluffer. The fluffer. You know, I don't want to be the fluffer. I want to be.
That's right. I forgot, John. No otters. Okay, we want lions.
You don't want to be the fluffer. You want to be the finisher.
John, streaming and sports. You have always been so ahead of the curve when it comes to. By the way, the commercials lately have been great, and it's the first time that I think that I'm watching with the commercials. I see people now that are just regular ma and pa now that are just now in front of the television sets going, hey, man. And now all of a sudden you're seeing the family, you're seeing the impact on families, you're seeing all that. So you know how important the visualization of the medium is. Streaming, in your opinion, how big, and do you think, again, I mean, the NFL's getting into it. All the sports leagues are now investing. And look at Thursday Night Football, John. The NFL's spending $2 billion on streaming. They don't get into anything. Like all those billionaires like yourself, they don't get into stuff unless there's something at the end of the rainbow that they see it's going to be 3 times the investment. How big does this get?
It gets huge because there's cord cutting. And for your viewers, that's just cable cutting. There's streaming coming. And you got, you know, YouTube. You know, there's more people watching YouTube than Netflix.
I couldn't believe that when I read that.
More. I mean, YouTube, it may have more viewers than anybody. I just bought a package on YouTube. I just bought a package on Hulu. Here's the scary thing. Question to your listeners: what network shows do you watch? I watch,
sports,
of course, CBS Sunday morning because I like it, and some of those crime shows, 48 Hours. I don't watch anything. All of my TV is Netflix, Peacock, Hulu.
That's what we watch.
I couldn't tell you who the stars are or who the shows are. I was reading today that Queen Latifah's show has been canceled. I'm like, so? What show? It was like she's a detective. I'm like, Queen Latifah is a detective? That doesn't seem right. But they, the show's over. I never knew that this show existed until I read about it in the paper today. I don't watch any network TV except 48 Hours, Sports, Dateline, CBS This Morning. Everything else is streaming. And the products are getting better. I just bought a thing where some of these things, you have this pause button and there's an ad. There's a premium for these pause buttons. So in other words, you pause the button.
Yeah.
Your ad shows up and it stays there while you're out getting your popcorn and stuff. It's just sitting up there. So I just bought a big pause package because I'm thinking, I was out in Hawaii and the pause thing came out. I said, Ultimate, I said, take a picture of that. We need to buy that. And so it's and also because of cord cutting, live sports is becoming a much more must-see TV for advertisers because people are really watching.
So I've labeled your market guys because I did radio in Boston on EEI. And now, obviously, we're centric now in Philly. So I call these guys your crime fighters. So Clancy Boland's coming on. He is your Philadelphia crime fighter for Morgan & Morgan. And so I've been texting him back and forth, and I said, he goes, all right, so I'm going to get your crime fighter on Thursday. And I said, you are the official law firm of the Sixers, right? And he's like, yes. I said, good. I go, I saw Big, and I text Big Poppy. Big Poppy's like, oh, yeah, I know, John. Absolutely. John Morgan is a big man up here in Boston.
Hey, listen to this. When Big Poppy won the World Series, we represented a player on the team named Mike Carp. He's not there anymore. But my son, Dan, Big Poppy told Dan, come on. Dan was in the parade. He was on the float with Big Poppy throwing beads out. You got to get the picture. Dan's up on now. Dan sucked in baseball, but he goes in the locker room. They say, "Come on!" He gets on the float, and we got pictures of Dan up there with the Boston Red Sox, and he's throwing beads out with Big Poppy and this guy named Mike Carp, who was on the team. And Big Poppy's been a great friend. Now Clancy, who's going to come on, he went to school at Duquesne. My cousin Ken Gormley was the dean of the law school when Clancy was there. And my cousin, Ken Gormley, is now the president of Duquesne. He went to Harvard Law School. So Clancy Boylan is the best guy, family man, loves his family, loves his dad, but he is an ass-kicking trial lawyer. His verdicts have been off the chart. He's fearless. He's great. And you'll see that on Thursday.
Is he an Eagle fan?
An Eagle fan? Well, I'm not sure because he went to Duquesne. Pittsburgh,
Oh, yeah. No, that's right. No, that's why I asked, because
I don't know.
There's a dividing line in there.
I don't know. What he is. But he better be.
Well, wait a minute, John. I'm going to put you on the spot here then. So, like, when Kentucky plays Florida, and because I've seen the old house in Kentucky now, and I've seen the first house that you had in Florida. So when the Gators are playing Kentucky, what are you rooting for?
That is a very good question, but it's a very easy question. You ready?
Please.
In football, Florida. In basketball, Kentucky.
That's right. I forgot.
It used to be called win-win. Now, with the Gators and NIL, maybe not. I mean, things are changing.
I'll tell you, hey, John, the hoop team and the hoop program might be better at Florida right now than the football program right now. I mean, Billy Napier, I think he's got a big year coming up, and I couldn't have been more wrong about him at the beginning of the year. I said, hey, man, this guy, I know the payout was big. John was doing this. Well, I think I can do that. Hey, I'll tell you what, I got that right now in my top drawer. I could pay the payout right now. But then he started winning. You think he's got a future as a Gator head football coach, or do you want to see somebody else? Because why'd you fire Dan Mullen?
I didn't want to fire Dan Mullen, and I don't want to fire him. I want people to finish their contracts by hook or by crook, or at least get to the end. Because, look, it never works out. I mean, the FSU guy got that big contract, and then boom. I've said this, and maybe I said on the show, if I was an AD, I'd say, hey, I'm going to pay you a small base. I'm going to pay you for your wins. As you get more wins, like we do at Morgan & Morgan, the more wins, the more money you get, but we're not going to give you a big contract. And if you don't want to come, fine. I'd rather find some hungry guy that says, give me the ball. Let me prove myself. You don't need to give me, and that we're going to work around the clock. These guaranteed contracts, look, Jimbo Fisher, as soon as he got the deal at Texas A&M, he's set. That's done. Where's the hunger? If you don't have hunger, and you can read my book on Amazon, You Can't Teach Hungry. If you don't have the hunger, think about this. If before you went to Thanksgiving dinner, you stopped at Wendy's and got a triple and a bowl of chili and a milkshake, do you think you're going to be able to eat Thanksgiving dinner? No. You know why? You're not hungry. You have to be hungry to eat, to work, to hunt.
Well,
So
John,
when you get a big contract at Texas A&M, it's like 10 years. I mean, it's like, I love Calipari. We text all the time. But and he is a competitor, but the deal he's got in Arkansas, he's my age. He's done. He wins.
Well, I'll tell you this, John. I'd rather have a guy that's got to go out and earn his meal every single day than have to go out there and have that thing already made for you. Because again, what's the point of going out and working hard if you're going to, because most people they'll be time card punchers. And most people in life are time card punchers. John, you said this, and I know all the times that you and I talked, I wondered if you ever thought that I retained it all. You go like this: the majority of the people in the world are C students. It's my job to make them B and A students. That's what people are today. And again, you're right. I mean, people don't have the hunger once it's in the bank.
It's hard to be motivated if you've already been paid. But it's just like it's hard to eat Thanksgiving dinner if you just had a triple and some fries and a Frosty. And then you sit down and go, here's turkey. And you know how much I hate turkey to begin with. Turkey, as you know, I said, I hate turkey. Turkey should not be served on Thanksgiving. I ask people this. Have you ever gone into a restaurant and ordered turkey?
No.
Have you ever? Turkey is basically a buzzard. And then they take the buzzard and they stick bread in the buzzard's ass. And that's called dressing.
Hey.
And then they take this red stuff called cranberry, which tastes bitter. And that's the celebration. No, I want a porterhouse, French fries. You know, I do not want turkey because turkey tastes like SH. Ask yourself this question. Have you ever been in a restaurant other than a cafeteria?
No way.
And said, hey, bring me the turkey, the dressing, and the cranberry sauce instead of the lamb chop or the sea bass or the steak or the tenderloin. Bring me that good old turkey. By the way, you know why turkey's cheap? Because it tastes like SH.
Ultimo, where's the turkey? No, we don't. No.
I don't eat turkey for Thanksgiving.
I know. John has this giant layout. I mean, folks, it's everywhere.
Prime rib.
Ultimo, well, we don't do that here. Oh, okay.
Because it's like this. If you came to my house for dinner and I said, we're having buzzard, what would you say? You'd be like, no.
No, I need at the hamburger place that you told me to stop at anyway.
On the way home, you're like, I had no food. And, you know, I like the green beans. I like the casseroles. I like all that stuff. But I just don't think we need to insult Thanksgiving with turkey.
John, great stuff as always, my friend. Thank you so much. And I will tell Clancy on Thursday. Thank you very much. You're a crime fighter in Philadelphia. Thank you, my man. I really appreciate it. Thank you, John.
See you next time.
You got it. That is my friend, John Morgan. Absolutely awesome. So no turkey at the Morgans, as you can tell. Hit the like button there. We got a bunch of topics still to hit on. By the way, Boomer Esiason's going to join us. So back to our conversation. The 2025 Eagles are not the same. A little more on AJ. Oh, the NFL will end the tush push. I will tell you when. They are ending it. How I would use Jihad Campbell, Big Sills, the NFC East over and unders. And again, my MVP predictions here on May 6th. Do me a favor, hit the like button. You just heard my friend John Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, #1 injury law firm in America. You know why? They win. And you heard this. John's guys don't make salaries. They only get paid if they deliver for their clients. That's the #1 priority that it is when you work at Morgan & Morgan. Okay? I mean, there's no salaries. Every single one of these attorneys, okay, it's all based on wins. How do you become the number one injury law firm in the world? It's winning. Thousands of people from across the country, like Clancy Boland, who's going to be on with us Thursday, the crime fighter, as I call him, in Philadelphia. That's what these guys do. Track records are second to none. That's what they do. $30 billion in recovery for families. Thousands of attorneys across the country serving Americans. In California, you see those people with those fires. They're getting people with, again, all the scenarios going on with them losing their homes. How about now? They're there supporting 9/11 victims. This is what Morgan & Morgan does. I've known these folks for over 30 years. These people win. Hit the like button. Do me a favor. Check them out if you're ever injured at forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. That's Big Sales. What do you got going on here? Yeah, hey, listen. I know some of you got your little panties in a bind because we were talking about something that's not resulting in your football team. I'm talking about one football player, A.J. Brown. And some of you kept trying to tie in Jaylen Herz and winning. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about one player. And by the way, when people say, I think AJ will do this, how would you know that? Go by his actions and how he's acted. and how receivers are. This guy wants to be a Hall of Fame football player now. He's already a champion. He already wants to be a champion. Or excuse me, he is. He wants to be a Hall of Fame player. Get this. Jaylen Herz is not going to the Hall of Fame with the numbers he has right now. He's not. Shit, they're debating Eli Manning, and he won 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He didn't get in. Here's a guy with over 60,000 passing yards. Sure, I'll bet that. No problem. Not a problem. You're not going to put a guy in the Hall of Fame with 20,000 passing yards if he ever gets there. Dude, over under, Jaylen Herz throws for 35,000 yards in his career. Let's take a look at this for a second. Let's see here. Jaylen Herz. Let's go by what he's doing now. And this is the part of his career. Jaylen Herz. Let's say just to get to 30 grand right now. Joe Flacco's won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. He's not going. And Joe Flacco's definitely got a good resume. So before you start barking, he will. Flacco's got a Super Bowl MVP. Let's take a look at this. Hertz is averaging right now what? Let me see. 3,200 yards. Okay, and he's got 14,000 now. So 10 years, he'll have 28,000 passing yards. That's if he stays on this pace. Let's see. Yeah, about 28,000 passing yards. Let's see how many touchdowns. That'll be about, let's see here. 9. Okay, 5 more. That'll come out to about 160. So in 10 years, Hertz will have less than 30,000 passing yards. Let's see what he does. There's no way he has over 35,000 passing yards in his career. Not a chance. Let's see here. He'll have to win a ton of Super Bowls to get into the Hall of Fame. Let's see, all-time passing yards. This will get you in the Hall of Fame. NFL. There we go. Let's see. Brady, Breeze, Manning, Favre, Roethlisberger, Rivers will get in. Rodgers. I'm not sure about Matt Ryan. Marino, Stafford will get in. Those are your top 10. And those guys are all at 58,000. Let's see. Where's Hertz right now on the list? Let's see here. Where's Jaylen? There he is. He's 170th. Got time. He's got time. Let's see where I think he ends up. Probably around here, about 25,000 because of style of play. Oh, Baker Mayfield's already got 24,000. He won't have more yards. Prescott's got 31,000 already. Been in the league longer, obviously. Mahomes is going to get up there near 50, 60,000. Goff's already at 35,000. Andy Dalton, he won't have more yards than Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton has 40 grand already. Derek Carr's at 41,000. Joe Flacco right now. Let's take a look at Joe Flacco's resume. Let's take a look at Joe Flacco, where he is. See if Hertz ever gets here. Joe Flacco. Now, again, Jaylen's got a long time to go here. So, I mean, he's a young kid. Let's see where he is. He's 40. All right, that's pretty much his career's end. Super Bowl MVP, and NFL Comeback Player of the Year. 46,000 passing yards. Passing touchdowns in a single postseason, 11 in 2012 when he won the Super Bowl. He's not going to the Hall of Fame. He has no Pro Bowls, I don't believe. Got quite a few passing. I mean, 46,000 passing yards, a lot. Hertz will never get past that. And he's got a Super Bowl MVP. So, I mean, I don't know. Okay. Yeah. And for the record, the reason Aikman's in, he's got 3 Super Bowls. So, yeah, Jaylen will have to win 3 or 4. Like I said, he'll have to win a bunch of Super Bowls to get in. Boomer Esiason's going to join us in a couple minutes here. So, let's go down here. The tush push will end May 20th in Minneapolis. NFL owner meetings. It is a push right now, believe it or not, by the commissioner to end the tush push. And for whatever reason, what impact will that have, in your opinion, on the Eagles' running attack this coming season? I think it's a football play. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's ridiculous that they're even trying to outlaw it. Okay? I do. But they're going to outlaw that at the end of this month. Stills, in a 43, you lose a cornerback. You lose a corner nickel. You lose a linebacker. It may depend on who we play and what scheme fits better. Maybe Vic is trying to evolve his 2-high safety with versatile players. Now, Abe, it's a great take because I do believe this. I don't think Vic is set in any scheme. I do not. I think Vic Fangio is going to go like this. Who's the most versatile player on the football team right now, defensively? Who's your most versatile player? Cooper DeJean? That's mine. Cooper DeJean. Who's your second? Zach Bond? Okay. Zach Bond? Okay, Zach Bond. Who's your third most versatile guy? We're gonna figure out how to play this kid. Okay? Who's the third most versatile guy on your football team defensively? Give me a guy. Jalen Carter? Play him in a 3-2-0. Can maybe even play him to set the edge. What do you think, Jalen Carter? Q third or fourth? Okay. I like the kid, but what do you think of the Jaden Daniels and mom dynamic? That woman playing chaperone on his date. Scary situation. Do you think it's been bad, Brian, that Lamar Jackson's mom is his agent? Brian, do you think that's been a bad setup for Lamar? Do you? I think it's been beneficial. Okay? I mean, when healthy, Dean is versatile. Yeah, but if you're going to play him in nickel, Dean's got to come off the field. I happen not to agree with that. I don't want to take Nakobe off the field. Nakobe's shown me that he can play 3 downs. Jahad Campbell hasn't showed me shit yet. By the way, Boomer Sison's going to join us. I know Dean's a 3-down guy. Health is a factor. Health is a factor with that conversation. So my conversation this week about Jahad Campbell has been, where are you playing him and how are you playing? So I wrote these notes down after watching some film on him. And then you tell me where you put this. You can line him up at edge. I haven't really seen him drop in coverage all that much at Alabama. I didn't really see an exceptional guy dropping in coverage. Are they going to ask him to do that in Philly with the Eagles? I don't know. I'm not saying he can't. I just haven't seen him be able to have that skill set. By the way, to LJ's point here, you may want to play him like Van Ginkel, and he may be a better football player than Van Ginkel. But here lies the difference in conversation. Does he have the versatile skill set to be the same thing that Van Ginkel can give you? Hand in the dirt, stand up, dropping coverage, and blitz and rush, and fit run gaps. Can he do all those things? I don't know that. Okay, so Van Ginkel's not the best guy in dropping. He's not the best run fit guy. He's not the best pass rusher. But you know what he does? He does all of those things so well, you don't take him off the field. And you know how Van Ginkel beats you? He beats you in personnel matchups because he doesn't come off the field. Do you understand? You don't have to be the greatest skill set guy. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be able to have mismatches and matchup advantages. That's why when a guy doesn't, that's why every single one of you do this here. You know what? You know what you guys say? Vic running 3-3-5 with Campbell. Now he may do that. That's not a horrible take. Okay? I don't think Vic is going to run the same type of scheme. I think he's going to run a scheme to fit the players he has that he's going to have available to him. Anybody in their right mind who thinks he's going to run the same defense as they ran a year ago, you're out of your mind. I made the point to you. Josh McDaniel had an offensive playbook that had Tom Brady's name on it for 20 years in New England. This year, he's not giving Drake May Tom Brady's playbook. He's creating a brand new offense for Drake May. So, yeah, Abe says, of course, Sills, but wait a minute. Everybody here thinks they're just going to plug and play the same system. That's not going to happen. And nor should it. I'm not going to run the same defense as I ran last year with all those losses. I'm going to run a defense that utilizes Nolan Smith, that utilizes Nakobe, and they got to figure out where they're going to play Jahad Campbell. Here, are you going to put him in blitz packages? He looks like a pretty good blitzer. He's got speed and agility, which means he is going to be tested on the edge. I would put him out there. I would try him out there, especially in the exhibition season. And in the organized team activity, well, that's right. You can't because you didn't. Here's the problem. All of this, you're not going to know until September. You have no idea until September where you're going to play this kid. All you have is theory. You have no way of knowing right now. Why? He's injured. Now, the cool thing about his injuries is this. He's 21 years old. I think he's going to recover quick. Dude, when you're 21 years old versus 31 years old, everybody knows this. You don't have to be an athlete to know this. Okay? Okay? Get this. See this right here? This is a horrible take. Vic didn't know what he had with Bond until 2 weeks into the camp. Vic doesn't have an idea. He doesn't know yet. He hasn't seen him on the field. That's not true. That's not how that works. He knows this. He knows the skill set of Nakobe. He knows the skill set of Nolan. He knows the skill set of Carter. He knows the skill set of pretty much the guys who were on that football team a year ago. The new guys, he has no idea. And the free agency has no idea. So where do you play him and how do you play him? Me, how I would play Jahad Campbell. I don't want to take Nakobe Dean off the field. And if I'm in base, I'm playing at one of the outside edges just to get him out there on the field. Or I would have a 43 look where I would put this. This would be me. Again, I'm just talking here. My defensive end would be Jaylen Herz. My left three technique is Carter. My one technique is Davis. And my right end is going to be Nolan Smith. Smith to Shoney could set the edge. My Mike would be Bond. My weak side would be Dean. And I'd put Campbell on the right side. And he'd be my strong side linebacker. So to me, this is how I would line them up. And I would have my corners. If you're going to start Keely Ringo, Keely and Q, I'd have my guy in the slot. I'd have my two safeties. There's my 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'd have a 43 look. And put Campbell at that linebacker. Because why? I can blitz him. He can help set the edge with Nolan. You got Dean and Hunt on this side. And look at the triangle in the middle of the field. Davis, Carter, and Bond on your triangle. Campbell, I think that's a natural position for him. He's playing inside linebacker. Why would you put him in a position? I'm not saying he can't play it. Slide him around. Maybe, like you said, I saw somebody say this. Maybe 1 week go back to a 34 look. Bring him off the bench. I think what Campbell's going to give you and what's going to be helpful to Vic Fangio this year is that I don't think you're going to line up in any kind of traditional defense week to week. I think that stuff they do on ESPN and they put that depth chart up there, I think that's just for alignment. I think this coming season, the majority of the time they're going to be in that nickel because that's what they played. They were 70% of the time. They were in nickel. Okay? And I think that's what they're going to line up in. Then you're going to have an issue with who comes off the field. Who do you take? You're going to put Mauro Joman off? You're going to put Campbell against, and he's going to be undersized, playing against OTs. I'm not sure I want that matchup. I'm trying to get him in matchups that help his skill set. That's not something that helps his skill set. Campbell is just a weapon, just an explosive weapon where Fangio can drop on opposing offenses. Cut Missy Elliott, give him number 4. We'll call him C4. By the way, I like the player. I do. I like the player. I think, get this, and I think the kid from Georgia is going to be your Oren Burks. I think he's better than Trotter. That guy will beat Trotter out. Why? I think he's a better football player. Watch his game tape coming out of Georgia and watch Trotter's tape coming out of Clemson. He fits better in runs. He drops better. He blitzes better. And he's sideline to sideline better. And he's faster. And he's a better athlete. And he was in a better system. And more importantly, he played with every guy that's on the Philadelphia Eagles that are from Georgia. So he's in a comfort zone knowing the ins and outs of the players that you have already on your roster. So he's already got that advantage. The versatility of your defense will be the number one priority in how they play him and everyone. Dude, this is going to be a completely looking different defense than what it was a year ago. It's not going to look the same. You don't have the same people. You know, it's funny how everyone goes, these guys are, no, they're not. Every single guy that you had on that football team a year ago, he's not replaceable in the scheme that they ran a year ago. That's why you're going to run something completely different. And it's going to look different on a week-to-week basis. For the Eagles to be successful this year, they've got to have the number one thing they had a year ago that gave them the ability to have that football team, especially that side, mature quick. What was it? The ability to change. That's what will make them successful this year. Can I slide Saquon from the outside into the inside? And can this guy really go sideline to sideline? How many times did Vic Fangio go, I don't know if he can play inside linebacker? You know, everyone's in here going, I'm leaving it up to Vic because Vic knows better. Vic didn't even know. Vic's willingness to test the waters, to see what the player has, his identity on being able to spot what a kid can do and can't do and put him in that position, that's what makes him a really good coach. This guy can do this. This guy can't do that. Well, we're not going to put him in that can't do that. That's why this defense, if you're any coach worth his weight, you don't play the same shit over and over again. How could you? Especially in today's NFL when you got constant change. 18% of the roster normally is changed. How can you do that? That's why yesterday I was laughing at some of you guys when you guys were going like this to me. Well, Sills, you know, those guys are all no, they're not. They're not replaceable. You can't replace people playing at somebody else's scheme. Just because you had success in one particular front doesn't mean you're going to have that same success with different folks. Everybody has a role on a defense. That's why it's a team. And it's the ultimate team sport. Look at this. And some of you are right with this take. You may have better talent this year. That don't mean you have better players. And if you don't put these players in the right position to succeed, that's the key to that whole success of a year ago. Dude, what was the number one thing that just blew people's brains? Man, Saquon had great success. N'Kobe had great success. Nolan stepped up. Hunt was developing. Q and Cooper were off the charts ahead of their time. Dude, that can't be said enough on Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell last year and how far they were ahead of pretty much every rookie that played last year. I mean, do you understand that? What Q did and what Cooper did, for them to have that football IQ, for them to be able to step in and adapt to what Vic was doing, that's drafting, that's talent evaluating, that's coaching. Are you going to duplicate that again? In the right environment, you will. I was having a conversation with Dave Wanstead, who won 3 Super Bowl rings with the Cowboys last night. I said, Dave, you think they're going to run the same thing? He goes, no way. He knows Vic Fangio 25 years. I said, how would you play Jahad Campbell? He goes, I would play him a lot like they do with Michael Parsons in Dallas. I said, okay. He goes, yeah, Parsons has shown that he can play in versatile roles. I go, what's the key to that? And he goes, you don't have to take him off the field. The Eagles are looking for players that you don't have to take off the field. They're looking for 11 guys that they don't have to have substitution packages for. They don't want to take them off the field. That's why Sweat and Milton's roles were so great a year ago. You don't have to take them off the field. They were there for you in any front, in any role, 52, 34, 43, nickel, dime. You didn't have to take them off the field. Teams did not catch your defense sleeping. That was the essential strength of the team. That's what they're going to try to recreate here. And I don't know what that front looks like. Now, I'll tell you what Campbell gives you. Here. Campbell is like Campbell is an asset that now Vic has to sit back and do this, what Jim Johnson used to do, your coordinator. How do I define a role for him? I've heard Hugh Campbell say that, or Hugh Douglas, excuse me. I've heard Hugh Douglas say this numerous times. I couldn't play the run very well. So you know what Jim Johnson did? Jim Johnson went back and did this. Okay, so he doesn't want to play the run, but he can rush the passer. So let me put him on the weak side, and let me just have this guy, even on run blitzes, set the edge this way. They created a role for him. That's what good coordinators do. They find a role for you. Not define a role. They find a role. What does he do? Can he drop? See, that's the first thing we got to find out. Because if he can't drop in coverage and he can't cover, what was the number one thing you did last year? You're number one in pass defense. Well, if he can't cover tight ends, that's already a problem. That's what Reddick's problem was. Reddick couldn't drop. We started seeing that. Hey, by the way, am I right? Somebody help me out here on this. Did Nolan drop a lot? Or did Vic just play him exclusively on blitzing and setting the edge? I forget. Did Nolan drop a lot? I don't remember him back in pass coverage that much. I thought, because if you remember, Desai and them guys were trying to have him play that Reddick role. And I don't really think that Vic dropped him much. He just sprinted off the line of scrimmage. He played and set the edge, and he just told the kid, play this role. And I think that's one of the reasons that he started developing into being a really good edge player, is that they weren't inundating him with going, like, he didn't play the Van Kinkel role. He played the run, he blitzed, and he rushed the passer. That's the 3 things he did. He didn't drop. You know who the guy was taking? You know, the most versatile player on the team probably was Zach Bond, along with Cooper. Those 2 dudes on your football field, man, I know Jalen Carter's the most important guy that you have in your front 7. But boy, those 2 guys that you have, Cooper DeJean and Zach Bond, they can play anywhere. You can play them on the edge, inside. Shit, I think Cooper DeJean could probably play linebacker, and maybe he could play Sam linebacker if you had him, because that's just who he is. He could play on the numbers, play in the slot. I mean, this guy could play anywhere. That's the advantage of having a guy like Cooper DeJean in your secondary. Now you're adding another piece. Look, I don't think this is going to be that easy, finding a role for Jahad Campbell. Okay? I don't. I'm not. get this. He may not have a starting role, but he may have an impact role. Got to think like that with him. What impact can I get out of him? Here, let me go down to defense. The impact that Moro Jomo will have will be what? Pass in the passing game. Let him. He's a better pass rusher. That's his skill set. What's Carter's? He's just a great player. I don't have to worry about him, whatever the front is. Jordan Davis, got to get him off the field on third down. In some aspects, I got to get him off the field on second and long. I mean, he's a situational player and a limited player. Here's the thing you look at with Jordan. Jordan is not very skilled. He's a great athlete. He's just not a very skilled football player. He's limited. Moro Jomo has more skill set as a defensive lineman than Carter. Is he as dominant? No. Is he as big? No. Is he as athletic? No. Who's a better football player? Probably Moro Jomo. That's why they basically got the same reps of a year ago. No, I don't believe Jordan Davis is a bum. There's a role for him. Vic defined a role. I'll tell you this, Vic Fangio and Clint Hurt probably saved Jordan Davis's career to get him that fifth-year option picked up. Because if they had gone down the same road of a year ago, he wouldn't have got that fifth year picked up, and they would have completely began the process of moving on from him. But they put him in a scheme that fit his skill set. It's great coaching. Okay, it's great coaching. Nolan Smith, we found out that Nolan Smith doesn't drop a lot, so they're not going to drop him back in coverage. We're still trying to figure out Jalix Hunt. I think there's more upside to him. I've been wrong about him. I mean, I didn't. Then again, I'm probably wrong about him because I never heard of him. And then when you started watching him play and how Vic was moving him around, you saw his game speed. You saw how he played. I mean, yeah, I think there's something there. I like him. I didn't think he was that big. Okay, I didn't. We're efforting our friend Boomer Esiason. I hope we were able to catch up with him. I know he's in traffic, and I know he's on 95 right now, so he just may be stuck in traffic. He said it could be an issue, so we appreciate it if he's able to come aboard. We'll catch him up. You know we do all the time. And so hopefully we're able to. Working him. Nothing back yet. Okay, Xander's working on it right now, so hopefully he's able to get home and we're able to get cooked up with him here. Yeah. So figuring out where you're going to play the kid is going to be, in my opinion, it's not a problem. I'm not saying it's a problem. Not at all. That's not where I'm going with that. Not saying it. I'm saying just like he did a year ago, he's got to figure out what the best place is at the linebacker position, or again, is it in a place where you're going to be able to put him and utilize him week to week. Kind of like the same way that Belichick used Mike Vrabel back in the day. That's how he was able to get the skill set out of him. Sills, has the teaching for technique and fundamentals declined over the years in the NFL? If so, that's the reason why coaching matters since more in these last, especially with the two-a-days. Abe, it's because you don't have the practice time and you're limited in OTAs and in training camp. That's why it's so important for players to get with coaches that are maybe outside the facility and have an idea of what they're doing. Dude, your own time right now. What do you think? Why is it? Dave, think of this. Why do you think it's tougher to develop offensive linemen and techniques today than it's ever been? It's there because you don't have the practice time you once did. You don't have 3-a-day practices any longer. Those guys were practicing techniques the entire time. So you're limited because of the CBA, because of practice time. So your skill set comes on later, getting games, you start getting more coaching. That's why offensive linemen today are more in the late 20s and early 30s, where you're starting to see their primes. It's tougher to develop and find. Dude, this is why I say this with the Eagles all the time. Finding 4 guys out of 5 and then making that Swiss Army knife, that right guard position work, like you have with Isaac Seumalo, like you did with Cam Jurgens, like you did with Mekhi Becton, and the rest of these guys are just insane great. That's unheard of. How many teams have great O-lines? Let's see. The teams that have great O-lines. Quarterback can cover for great O-lines. There's one in Baltimore. Obviously, the Eagles. Atlanta's got an underrated one. Detroit has a really good one because of Penei Sewell in the center. Now, they lost the guard, but they ended up trying to replace it. It's going to be interesting to see what Chicago – look what Chicago did. Chiefs don't have a good O-line right now. Look at what they've done. They've moved off of Tune. Okay, the Buccaneers have a good one with Tristan Wirfs out there at left tackle. He's probably – you can make the argument that Wirfs and Mulatto are probably the 2 best left tackles in the – and Sewell in the NFL. Those are the 3 best out there. And Bucs have gotten better in the O-line, to say the least. Buffalo's getting better. Eagles by far. But here's the thing, too. The Eagles have been great for what? The Eagles have been great for 15 years. The Niners are starting to fall apart, and so is Trent Williams. Okay? They're starting to fall apart a little bit. Okay, let me go back to the topic that started the show. Again, folks, I think there was a disconnect in what I was talking about with A.J. Brown and what's going to be the right formula to win this year. Nobody's debating it. The right formula to win this year is to run the ball more and to have more of an emphasis on what won you the Super Bowl. Why would you change? And get this. I heard Xander say this, and a bunch of people go, I think teams are going to try to stop the run. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to see if you have the personnel to do it. Nobody on that Eagles schedule has a defense that could stop that run. Nobody. I don't care how many people you put in the box. Okay? I don't care how many people. Well, Sills, they're going to make an emphasis like the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl. You know, well, how many teams have Patrick Mahomes? You better have a quarterback that can keep the game close once the Eagles are running you over. And if they go to a fullback set, that's going to enhance the running. So basically, you're going to have another guard back there, right? You're going to play the game with 3 guards? Who do you think is going to play that position, that fullback position on goal line? They're going to put a tight end back there, Harrison Bryant. And they're going to run in goal line a fullback with either Van Sumeren, or they're going to run back there with whoever makes it work, like Harrison Bryant. You're going to basically be running with 3 O-linemen. Or no, 6 offensive linemen in goal line. And Barkley behind him or Hertz, I want to see you stop that. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. The Giants, maybe because of the nose. Cowboys can't stop that. Washington, I don't know if you've done enough in the D tackle position to stop that. Detroit, maybe. Hey, if you look at the teams in the NFC, what have they done? They tried to get physical in the defensive line. Dexter Lawrence is the best interior defensive football player in the league. It's not close. Well, I'll take that back. It's getting closer. I think Chris Jones is still good, and the kid from Philly's coming on. No doubt about it. He's coming on. He's not Dexter Lawrence, though. Dexter Lawrence is the preeminent interior defensive lineman. Veda's good, too. Yes, it's those guys. It's Carter, Jones, Vita Vea, Dexter Lawrence. It's that group of dudes. Maybe the kid Simmons in Tennessee. You could put that kid in that room too. Get this. This is a stupid thing. Milton Williams wasn't that special. Bro, you're missing what he brought to your defense. You missed the whole thing. You don't have get this, Jaylen. You don't have a football player on your team that resembles anything that Milton Williams brought to the table. Nothing. You have nobody on the team that resembles anything close to Milton Williams. Nothing. Who? That plays on the edge. Not to the level that Sills. Get this. Get this. Hey, Jaylen, name me a player that has the skill set of Milton Williams. Let's see what this guy sings. And all you'll need to know is his answer. Who on your defense do you think has the same skill set of Milton Williams? Watch this, guys. You want to see a dumbass answer? Watch this. I'm waiting, dude. Give me one player that you have right now on your defensive front seven that you think has the skill set of Milton Williams. Booker. And you can always count on Senorita for an absolutely asshole take that goes the other way. Nobody's saying that, jackass. I didn't say we have someone to replace him. I said losing him is nothing to cry over. Well, if you're going to move off of somebody, don't you think you should have a freaking plan? So you think Jalix Hunt is going to take over the role of Milton Williams? And it took Milton Williams 3 years to develop into that player. What a stupid take. It's a stupid take. Stupid take. To think that that guy's going to play up and down the line of scrimmage like that guy. What a dumb take. You don't have anybody on the team to take the role of Josh Sweat. Well, these guys are nobody special. Oh, they were on the number 1 overall defense. They were on the number 1 overall defense. Hey, guys, we apologize for Boomer. Must have been stuck in traffic. We'll catch him tomorrow. Want to make sure we do our business, though, here. Hey, don't forget our great friends here at Morgan & Morgan. With over $30 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason why. Because they win. The number 1 injury firm in the country is Morgan & Morgan. I know life is hard sometimes, and you got to make tough decisions. This will be the easiest decision you will ever make. Please do me a favor. Log online and go forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EH.
Hit the like button. How do you know Jalen Carter won't be the same player without Milton Williams and Josh Sweat playing on each side of him? You're lining up lesser talent and lesser experienced guys. What, do you think those double teams, David, are going to get lesser because you're lining up somebody that's not played? How's that work, kid? Or a rookie and Ty Robinson? That may be well and true. But you think you have enough talent on your D-line that you think that how about this one? Okay? See, this is stupid right here. Because he thinks those other guys, Carter made them. Okay, that may be. Those guys leave. You think there's going to be less double teams on Jalen Carter? Because you have lesser players, lesser experience, even if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And you want to have rotation players. You think on third down, M. Reyes thinks there's less double teams now coming. Nobody would think that with any brains. Then again, M. Reyes doesn't have any brains. I mean, I think a fresh rotation of lesser players will help Jalen Carter, is what he's saying. Okay. How's that possible? You could think that. Let me have a rookie versus a guy like Milton Williams or Josh Sweat, and you think that the double teams will be less. How's that remotely close to being anything possibly true? I'm not disagreeing that Milton and Josh are going to be in different environments because they're not going to have talent around them like they did the #1 defense a year ago. But to sit there and assume that players who haven't played the reps that those guys have played, and you're going to slide someone in that wasn't even on the freaking team a year ago, is going to help lessen the double teams, is asinine. Yeah, they are lesser players. Faster players don't make better players. Hey, is anybody faster than Jordan Davis at the nose? No. He's still limited as a player. Incredible. Like I said, it's May 6th. They got a lot of work to do. They got a ton of work to do here. I think edge rushers have to be huge this year. No, David, they weren't huge last year. Your run defense has to be huge. Okay? You weren't dynamic. David, that's a misnomer that you have to have a pass rusher on your edge. Your number one guy had 8.5 last year. That's over like media stuff. You don't need a 17 sack guy. It's overrated. You won a Super Bowl with guys doing their jobs and that were very good. And you won it with more versatility with Sweat and Milton than you did with 4 guys that had double digits. You had a better defense this past season with nobody with double digits versus the team you had in 22 that had 4 guys with double digits. Think about that. All right. We apologize about Boomer. I'm very sure he got stuck in traffic. He told me that could be a possibility. So we will catch up with him. I promise you, you know how we work. We end up getting those guys back on again. Want to thank John Morgan for coming aboard here with us. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. We so appreciate you guys. Thank you again. Xander, thank you. Big Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow. And we'll see you on the flip side.